and welcome to another episode of Some of Our Parts, the podcast where two friends talk about the movies that add up to make us who we are. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Jim. And this week it was Lindsay's selection. So, Lindsay, what'd you have us watch this week?
I picked a movie that is somehow celebrating its 20th anniversary as of just a few weeks ago, like the end of July. I didn't realize it came out that long ago when I read that, but it's a movie that I really love. Um, I think it kind of makes sense for this time of year. It's a road movie, which feels like summer. But also I just really enjoy it. I think it actually might be one of my favorites, and it is Little Miss Sunshine from 2006.
I remember when this movie came out, and now that you say that, I actually thought it came out longer ago than that for some
Mm,
reason. It doesn't seem like it was just 20 years ago, but it also seems like, gee, in the 2006, that wasn't that far back. And you're right, now it's 20 years past that.
yeah.
But I remember the critics really enjoyed this movie, really,
Hmm.
really gave it great reviews, and I believe it did pretty well at the box office, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I think I read that it had a budget of like 8 million and it made like over 100.
Um, it seemed like it was one of those quiet movies, that,
Hmm.
like we've said in the past, particularly you, that they don't make anymore.
Yes. What have I
No,
said? There's no like $10 million movies anymore.
there's no big CGI or or whatever, but it's just really well done writing and performances that
Hmm.
bring the story. So did you see this at the movie theater then?
Yes. I don't remember it exactly, but I know that I did.
Okay.
And I own it. I'm sure I saw it with my friends. Because I was in high school, I could like drive kind of. And
Okay.
well, I had my permit, but yeah, I'm sure that I saw it at the mall with my friends. I own it on DVD, and I mostly remember I watched it like a lot in college because I really enjoyed it again, and I had to watch it. I took a screenwriting class,
Hmm.
and we had to write one of our own, and you had to watch a movie that was like similar, and I was writing a movie about child beauty pageants. So, because the show Toddlers and Tiaras was on at the
Oh,
time when I was in college, which like
okay.
all the other girls in the pageant in this movie look like the girls from Toddlers and Tiaras. My movie was sort of like if you took Little Miss Sunshine and mixed it with Drop Dead Gorgeous. That was kind of the vibe. So I had to watch a movie that was similar and like outline it, watch it very closely. And so it was this movie. So that's what I remember like watching it more often in college because I had it on DVD.
Okay.
I brought some movies with me like when I went abroad and like when I went to college and stuff. So I remember watching it a lot then and I still own it. It's also on Netflix now, though it's leaving Netflix at the end of August. So everybody catch it while you can. But yeah, it's one that I've revisited more than once, though I had not. This was the first time in a while that I've watched the whole thing.
Okay.
And had you seen it before?
I had not seen the whole movie before, and we spoke earlier before we started recording. I had seen bits and pieces, and I know I didn't see it at the movie theater, and I remember though the buzz around it and stuff when it came out, and the critical reviews and stuff. But no, I had not seen the whole movie, so this was the first time that I'd seen all the way through. And we got to tell you, like the last 20 minutes of it made me laugh out loud. So
Hmm.
it was just one of I mean, it's all good, but that was the payoff for me.
Hmm. I
The
think from the part that they leave the hospital, it's just like hilarious.
yeah, I mean, the build up to that is good, and we'll talk about it and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, from that point on, I think you're absolutely. That's to me where it really gets to be.
It's like
It's
they just go full like crazy at that point. They're just like, well, all
and
right, this is what we're doing.
and as we go through the movie, probably rightfully so. They
Yeah,
probably, that at that point, what have you got to lose? So,
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, no, I think this is like one of my favorite, this is like my favorite kind of like tone of movie, I think. Because it's like funny and like kind of silly and zany, but also still like there's like sad stuff
oh
happening and like
yeah.
conflict and like all this hard stuff like at the same time. And that's just like because I think to me this feels like life. Like I
I was,
don't think that life is like a drama movie where it's all just like big drama heavy da, da, da. But it's nothing is like without the bad hard stuff, and so this just like this is like catnip for me, this kind of tone of movie. That's why I love like it's not exactly the same but like Steel Magnolias, because there's a lot of humor in it. It's a different kind of humor. This is like more indie quirky,
mhm.
but it's a lot of humor in it, but also some like really sad stuff happening. And I just find that balance and that like contrast be very attractive to me, to feel like so real. Like I think that like it makes the funnier parts funnier almost. That they are like existing alongside this stuff. Right? Like the hospital.
Mhm. It, and I agree. It is like real life because I don't like movies that like you said like just come at you like a train, and then all of a sudden it's
Hmm.
like you're just run over by whatever emotion it is. It's oh my God, this is the worst thing ever and stuff like that because there's
Yeah.
life is a mixture uh, of funny, sad, humorous, good, bad, whatever it may be, but it's not always one or the other. So.
Yes. It's absurd. I think that's what like life feels like a lot. And I think that it feels untrue to not have the absurdity represented to me. And I think that this movie captures that like so perfectly.
And I think that, some of the, if not all, the dialogue and the conversations that take place feel real.
Yeah,
Because
I
there's
agree.
there's so many so many movies that it's very stilted or it's very like no one talks like that.
Hmm.
You and I have talked about movies where there's conversations taking place and we said to us real people don't you know discuss things like that or in that
Yeah,
manner but
exactly.
this feels like real people talking about real situations whether it's something
Hmm.
funny or sad or whatever it may be but there's some really honest and dialogue here so
Yeah. Yeah, and it feels like a real like family. Like they relate to each other in a real familial way. And even though they're sort of like this weird mashed up like blended family, I think that it feels like organic. And
yeah.
and I think also just like having a family as like the central kind of unit, right? Because this cast is mostly just these like six people. We spend most of the movie just with them. I think, the family as a unit is just like such a perfect like microcosm of like the world and like humor and conflict and like because it's like these are the people that you know and love the best, but they're also probably the people that drive you the most crazy in the world more than anyone else can. They know your buttons and can push them. And it's also that thing of like, I can be mean to my sibling, but like, you better not for 1 second do that. Right? Like, there could be so much fighting within the family unit, but as soon as there's like someone from outside trying to come at them, it's like, hey, how dare you? You better back up, you know?
I always go back to Animal House, and it was the
Hmm.
same thing. It was like, they can't do that to our pledges. Only we can do that to our pledges. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah, you can't do anything, but we can set them on fire, but you guys can't,
Hmm.
can't touch them. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So very protective, from about the unit, but like inside the unit, it's all, it's all fair game. So
exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, but that's what I love about it. And as you said, it was critically acclaimed. It was nominated for 4 Oscars and won 2 of them, which again I think is great. We don't always get like movies that are comedic winning Oscars.
or small movies, like
Hmm.
this, it has to be something like some sort of huge blockbuster.
Yeah.
And there used to be a running gag. Well, and I don't know if running gag, but like in order to get nominated, it either had to be a biography of somebody
Hmm.
famous, or you had, or it had to be a story about somebody with some sort of disability,
Hmm.
or some big sweeping epic about, big events or whatever it may be. But this
Yeah.
this had none of that, and as
Yeah.
far as that goes. So,
Yeah, and it was nominated for Best Picture.
mhm.
It didn't, that's not one of the ones that won. It lost to The Departed. The Departed. And it did not win Best. Abigail Breslin was nominated for Best Supporting Actress at age like 10. So good for her. She did not win. That was the year that Jennifer Hudson won for Dreamgirls, which we cannot argue with. So we
Granted.
get that, but like good for Abigail. The 2 Oscars that it did win, it won Best Original Screenplay. The writer Michael Arndt won that. And Alan Arkin, who plays the grandpa, won Best Supporting Actor, which, as we will discuss, I think we both agree is well deserved.
Exactly. So going back to Abigail Breslin, was Anna Paquin the youngest nominee ever, or was it Jodie Foster?
So Tatum O'Neal was also 10, but like 10 and less days.
Less
So
days.
actually, funny enough, so Abigail Breslin is 4th youngest ever
Oh,
nominee for Best Supporting Actress. The other 2 are 2 people that we've watched in movies. So number 1's Tatum O'Neal in Paper Moon. Number 2, Mary Badham as Scout in To Kill a
mm,
Mockingbird. And number
oh,
3, Quinn Cummings from The Goodbye Girl. So Anna Paquin was 11. So she's number 6 on the list.
oh gosh. Okay.
An
So
elderly 11.
yeah, well, once they get up there, they're
Yeah.
over the hill.
And
So
Jodie Foster's number 10 at age, she was 14
14. Was
for
that for the
Taxi
bad
Driver.
news? Oh, Taxi Driver. Okay.
Mm. But yeah, so that's funny that it's 2 people that we've watched. So
There you go.
we're showcasing some really brilliant young actresses on this podcast.
See, people, we do pick good movies. So,
Yes, we always do. I'll say also this movie, in addition to the Oscars, it won the Independent Spirit Award for Best Feature, and it won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture, which is
oh,
kind of like the Best Picture award at the Screen Actors Guild Award. So, and like this is the year that like The Departed came out, Dreamgirls, The Queen, The Last King of Scotland, Babel, Letters from Iwo Jima. So this cast beat all of them.
and those were all big movies. I mean,
Yeah.
had a
Yeah.
lot of star power, a lot of money.
Hmm.
Big heavy hitters in those. So,
Yeah. So, which I think is just a testament to the performances in this one, because
agreed.
it's like I could watch this movie over and over and over again and not get tired of it because I think it's so good. And I think you could watch it over and over and kind of like hone in on different people,
Hmm.
different things each time.
I don't know anything about being an actor or studying acting. I know you take it, but I would think this is the kind of movie where if you wanted to be an actor, you would watch this movie to get some, you know, pointers or whatever you want to call it, or, to study how these people,
Hmm.
form their roles.
Yeah, I think so. So, well, as I mentioned, the movie was written by Michael Arndt. He won the Best Original Screenplay Oscar for this screenplay. He's written some other good things. He wrote Toy Story 3. He has
Mm.
actually done like a bunch of franchise things, but like good entries in the franchises. So he wrote Toy Story 3. He wrote the second Hunger Games movie, Hunger Games Catching Fire. And he also wrote one of the last ones that came out, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. He wrote Star Wars The Force Awakens, so like starting the new trilogy. He wrote the 2013 movie Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay.
And he wrote A Walk in the Woods. So,
So he
yeah.
wrote Toy Story 3. Was that Woody's Revenge? Wasn't that the Toy Story 3? Woody's
It's the one with Lotso, the bear, the purple
Oh,
bear.
oh, I thought it was The Return of Woody or Woody's
No,
Revenge.
no.
So,
Woody
okay.
Awakens.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The Wrath
Uh,
of Woody.
exactly. There are two directors that I guess are a team that work together frequently. They have also directed Ruby Sparks. They directed Battle of the Sexes,
Mm,
which, if you know Jim and I, you know that actually one of the years for our joint Halloween costume, we
hmm.
did Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. And Billie Jean King commented on my Instagram picture of it. Just
Yes,
saying.
she did. Yes.
Um, they have directed episodes of the Netflix. They directed the Netflix comedy television show Living with Yourself, the Hulu series Fleischman is in Trouble. They directed episodes of that. And they also started by directing music videos. And I looked at some of the ones that they did, and some of them are kind of big, like More Than Words by Extreme, which is like a music video I remember. They directed that. They directed some REM, Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Smashing Pumpkins, and some of their big songs like for The Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight Tonight in 1979. They directed Korn's video for Freak on a Leash, Red Hot Chili Peppers. They did Californication, a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers. But yeah, so they've done several music videos as well. That's actually how they got their start. So, and they directed some like sketch things as well.
Honing their craft and working their way up to the big feature films. So
Hmm.
that's good
Yeah.
though. I mean, yeah. So yeah, not everybody is Clint Eastwood or Ron Howard. So
Yeah, they worked their way up. Music
mhm.
videos, sketches, commercials, and then they started beginning to offer to be offered motion pictures. And I think this is the first motion picture that they directed.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
made a big impression. So just
yeah,
saying.
like not doing too bad for yourself there.
No, no, this is a good debut, but of course you set the bar high and then, where do you go from here? So
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, should we talk about the movie?
yeah, let's take a peek into Miss Sunshine.
So, we open with our kind of main character, Olive, and we get like a nice close up on her face, and she's wearing, it's funny, like we've talked about these a lot. She's wearing like the like 80s glasses, like these big sort of, it's like a square shape but like rounded. She's wearing those kind of glasses, and she's watching a tape of an old Miss America pageant. And then she's like, we see her, she's like imitating the wave at the end and the, oh my gosh, I won, like of the winner. And she's such a like cute kid that just like looks like a kid, like she doesn't look,
Yeah,
and we'll talk about it when we get to the pageant, but like she doesn't look like those kids. She looks like a normal kid. She's got like long stringy hair and these big glasses, and she wears all these bracelets and like, like she's always got like a red tank top on and some shorts and some sneakers, or like at some point she's wearing red cowboy boots, and sometimes she's wearing like a sweatband on her
yeah,
head. And yeah, so she's so cute. Um, I wrote her little outfit.
yeah.
Um, and then we kind of, this is sort of the very beginning of the movie. We're kind of meeting all of the family members one by one. So next we meet her dad, Richard, and he's giving like a lecture, his like Tony Robbins self-help motivational speaking lecture with his 9 step refuse to lose program. He's got like it's just it's so he's got like an overhead projector, which, if you're my age, you remember those from school where people were writing on transparencies.
Right. You had to
Um,
make sure it was like I think it was upside down or whatever, so it project
yeah.
right side up and stuff. So those were
Um,
always the epitome of the uh, high tech at the time. So
yeah. And of course, as he wraps up, we see that he's talking to a room of like 10 people.
it's
Looks like
mostly
he's at like
empty.
a community college kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I think only one person claps, right, or
yeah.
something.
And then I think maybe some of the other people join in, but it's not a super enthusiastic response.
No.
And then we see her brother Dwayne, who is working out. He's doing push-ups, he's lifting, he's doing sit-ups, he's got a pull-up bar, he's doing pull-ups. He's like a scrawny kid.
Very.
So he's not like clearly not like an athlete, but he's training for something because he also has like a thing on the wall that's like counting down days. And he has a big like it looks like a sheet with a picture of Friedrich Nietzsche painted on it.
I know it's sort of like it's not it's like a outline sort of thing.
Hmm.
It's kind of odd the way yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
you see
more
just like his facial features and his big mustache, but there's no like
mustache.
lines kind of.
Right. It's not a very detailed, but it gives
Hmm.
you know what you're looking at, but it's just, yeah.
Hmm. Then we see Grandpa go into the bathroom and lock the door and pull drugs out of his fanny pack. It's heroin. It's powder heroin. I always thought it was cocaine, but
I did
I think
too.
it's heroin.
Yeah. And it looks like he's got it in an eyeglass case. It's like, or
Yeah.
something. And then he's got the little vial and it shows him chopping up or the powder and stuff. He's
Yeah. On the mirror and,
yeah,
he's got his
using
rolled up dollar bill.
yeah, and because I thought, why is he wearing a fanny pack into the bathroom? It's
Mm.
like
Yeah. Well, now we see.
that's where you keep your stash, right? I was just
Of
saying,
course. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because who would suspect, right?
Yeah. Totally. And it's got to
It,
be portable.
yeah, it goes with you everywhere, and it's
Hmm.
you always know where it is.
Yep. So that's Grandpa. And then we meet the mom who is driving and she's on the phone. She's clearly talking to the dad. And I love she's smoking a cigarette and she goes, "No, I'm not smoking." We learn in a minute she's going to pick up her brother, Uncle Frank, in the hospital. And so she's rushing there and she's, telling the dad, like, well, he has nowhere else to go. I'm going to bring him home. And then we see Uncle Frank, who's in the hospital in his hospital outfit in a wheelchair with bandages on both wrists. So he tried to kill himself.
He also looks like he's like so zoned out,
Hmm.
he's like you, some of the people that we see in our line of work where they're just like you know
Hmm.
just out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So she takes him home and he has nowhere else to go. So she brings him to her house and he has to share the room with Dwayne because he's not allowed to sleep alone. And you could see him kind of like looking down the hallway, like literally anywhere else. And she's like, no, it's what the doctor said. You can't sleep alone. Although I would say this is like now that I'm like an adult and I work in mental health field, like if you think that he's not safe enough to spend the night alone, you need to keep him in the hospital.
That's because he also cautions her when she takes him, like, keep him away from sharp objects and stuff. And it's like,
Mhm.
listen, yeah, maybe he shouldn't be ready to be discharged at this point. So maybe the discharge plan's a little presumptuous.
Yeah. Although they said
Just
insurance couldn't keep him. And this is the pre-Obamacare days, so we'll just accept that. But like that part I was like, if it's that risky, you don't discharge him.
yeah, maybe back in those days it just didn't matter, you
They were
know.
just like, go kill yourself, whatever.
Yeah. So
But yeah, so Frank has to sleep, share a room with his nephew Dwayne, his teenage nephew.
and he can't close the door.
Yeah. And he hates this.
Oh, you can just tell the look on his face. He's just like, because we've not
Hates
heard
it.
Frank say a word
No,
at this point, have we? I don't think Frank's spoken.
I don't think so. If he did, it was like, hello.
Yeah, like
Like,
yes, no,
and then so the family is like getting ready for dinner. The mom picked up chicken and she's gonna make a salad, which is like that does feel very like suburban family, like weeknight dinner kind of thing, you know? Like, oh, mom's gonna pick something up, we're gonna make a side. You gotta have a
right.
vegetable.
Gotta have veggies.
And so she's gonna make a salad. She's like, Dwayne, set the table. The dad is waiting on a phone call from Stan Grossman, who we don't really know what that's about. But then as we kind of hear more, that's this like book agent that's gonna get him a book deal to like publish the Nine Steps program that will then kind of parlay into like he'll be like a Tony Robbins
Right,
publishing
or
books,
that's what his
doing
hope
a
is.
he
That
says he explains it later. It's like they start with books, then you do a video DVD series, and then you go on tour. So
he's sort of got it all mapped out.
yeah.
So
So he's trying to get a hold of this guy, and I love Dwayne is just like being as loud as possible, grabbing plates, like
and
just
silverware,
slamming them together, like slamming cabinets. And then Dwayne sits next to Uncle Frank and he goes to tell him dinner's ready. Before he comes to the table, he goes to tell Frank dinner's ready and he just mimes it. And Frank's like, okay. And then he asks, like, you don't talk? And he's like, no. He just shakes his head no. And he's like, why? And he points at the picture of Nietzsche. And he's like, you don't talk. I love the way that Steve Carell pronounces. He goes, Nietzsche? You don't talk because of Friedrich Nietzsche? Like just the way he says it is so funny. It, it gets me every time. Nietzsche?
Nietzsche, which I
Just
don't know anything about Nietzsche. Did Nietzsche believe in silence or something? Was that a thing of his philosophy or his writings?
I have no idea.
I
I
don't
don't
either.
I am not educated enough about Nietzsche either. So I don't know. That's a good question. So they get to the table and Frank, it is hilarious. So now that Frank knows that Dwayne is not talking, he
Yeah,
keeps trying to talk to him and ask him questions. And finally Dwayne has to like pull out, he has a little pad and pen. So he finally pulls that out and he writes a message because he wants to become like a fighter pilot and like go away. And he's like, why uh or like why aren't you talking? Like why are you doing this? And he writes, I hate everyone. And he goes, even your family? And then Dwayne just underlines everyone.
it's like yeah, he almost like tears the paper. He's like everyone.
Yeah, it's great. Olive has been rehearsing her talent number for pageants with Grandpa, and then they finally join. Uh, the mom explains to Frank that Dwayne has taken a vow of silence until he reaches his goal of going to the Air Force Academy to become a fighter pilot. So he's like in high school, he's a teenager. So he's got a little bit to go. And then the dad is talking about how it's great. It's like part of the 9 steps. He's a winner.
How much discipline it shows, and
Yeah, and
he's proud of him,
the
and
mom's like, shut up. And he's like, I'm being nice. And even you can see Dwayne's like, oh my God, like stop talking.
right, like just everybody just
Yeah. They ask when they can see Olive's routine that she's working on with Grandpa, and he says like a few more days. It's not ready. And he's also got quite now. He's wearing like a t-shirt with a Hawaiian shirt over it and a leather vest and jeans. And then he's wearing like socks with sandals and his drug fanny pack.
and it's almost like a biker leather vest,
Yes.
it's not
Yes.
like a dressy leather vest, but it doesn't have like, a logo or colors, as they would call it on it. But yeah, doesn't it to you, it sort of reminds you of like an old hippie biker vest
Yeah.
without all the writing on it and stuff, or,
Yes.
or,
Exactly.
uh, born to ride, or whatever,
Yeah. No patches.
yeah, live to ride.
Yeah. Or like Sons of Anarchy on the
Yeah,
back of it.
exactly. Yeah.
Olive asks Frank about his arms. Like, why does he have bandages on his arms? And at first, it's like, oh, they're not. Oh, they say
I
like
had
he had an accident.
I had an
I
accident.
had an accident. And then here, Grandpa takes issue with the dinner choice. He says, the chicken, always the fucking chicken.
And I wrote down Dinah's chicken, so I don't know if Dinah has chicken, but
Yeah, I don't know. Must be a
I I
local.
I could use some Dinah's chicken, so I'm just
It would be
saying.
like if you got a Royal Farms chicken
Right.
around here.
Or some KFC maybe, I don't know, but
Yeah.
because it is a bucket of Dinah's chicken.
Yes.
That and
Um,
everybody gets Sprite.
yes. Yes. Frank, would you like some Sprite? And they have like big plastic cups to drink out of. It feels very just like
Hmm.
this is a real family and this is their routine.
It's paper. Well, it's not paper plates. Is it paper plates? I don't think so. Is it?
I think
I
they
think
were gonna do because she mentioned paper plates.
paper plates, yeah, but I think they use real plates. So
Hmm. And Olive keeps asking about Uncle Frank's arms. And then the mom is like, okay. Because Uncle Frank's like, I mean, I defer to
yeah,
you. And the mom's like, I believe in being honest. So she's like, he didn't have an accident. He tried to kill himself. And the dad is like, whoa, 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 whoa. She doesn't need to know that. And then he and the mom kind of fight. And then she's like, Olive has follow-ups, as children do. She's 7, I think, is the character supposed to be.
yeah.
So she's like, why'd you try to kill yourself? And he says he was very, very sad. And she's like, why were you sad? And he fell in love with someone who didn't love him back. And he says he fell in love with a boy. And then she is like, wait, did you say a boy?
Yeah,
And he said, yes, I did. And then she goes, that's silly.
yeah. Well, that's silly, Uncle Frank. To fall in love with a boy.
Oh, well, what's funny is like he keeps going, well, I fell in love with this boy and he didn't love me back. And then she goes, oh, and that's when you tried to kill yourself. And he's like, well, no. Then he left me for this Larry Sugarman, who is perhaps the second most highly regarded Proust scholar, as in Marcel Proust, the French writer, Proust scholar in the United States. And then uh, the dad is like, who's the number one? And he's like, uh, that would be me.
Me.
So this guy left him for Larry Sugarman, and Olive's like, "Oh, so that's when you tried to kill yourself?" And he's like, "No, wait."
No, I
So
was fine. I was fine.
so he ended up losing his job. That was sort of the pinnacle. Oh, that's when no. Then the MacArthur Foundation awarded a genius grant to Larry Sugarman, and that is when he tried to kill himself.
That's the straw that broke the camel's back, as they would say.
Hmm. And then of course the dad, Richard, brings it all back to like Olive. because we don't do these kinds of things because we're winners and losers and da da da.
Mm, hmm.
He's always talking about things in terms of like winners and losers.
Right. What do winners do? Winners, find a way and,
Winners don't give up,
don't give up, right? They try and,
which
we're
is like,
not.
it's so insulting. This man just told you when he tried to kill himself, and he's like, wow, loser.
It, doesn't Frank even say it? Or says, I didn't even get that done. I didn't even do that right.
And I failed at that too.
Yeah. So,
So then Olive is talking about getting ready for this local pageant that she signed up for, which is like Miss Chili Pepper or something like that.
yeah.
Because they live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So then the mom's like, oh, there was like a message on the machine. Well, the mom is saying that when Olive went to stay with her
Her,
sister, so her and
your,
Frank's sister, Cindy, over like spring break, she had put her in a local pageant and she got came in second in this whole region, which was great.
yeah.
It's like, oh, this is Cindy's influence. But then they're like, oh, Cindy had left a message on the answering machine. And then they go listen to it. And she's saying that, like, the girl who won had to forfeit her title, something about diet pills. But Olive is the winner, so she gets to come compete in the state pageant. And Olive just, like, lets out the most high-pitched scream. I can't do it because the mic won't pick it up. But
I,
just imagine her going, like, ah, but like
oh, it's
breaking glass
what do they call high
frequency.
C over C
Yes.
or whatever? It's like,
Like it'll make your dog start barking. It's so funny though, because
exactly.
she's just like pumped and she immediately leaves the room and starts packing. She's like, I won, I won, I won, I won, I won, I won, I won.
And it is the Miss Sunshine
Yes,
pageant,
Little
right?
Miss
It's the
Sunshine.
yeah.
So the mom calls Aunt Cindy and they're gonna be out of town. It's this weekend, it's Sunday. They have to take their horses to like an equestrian show. And I was like, wow, what a mixed family in terms of like socioeconomic
Right.
status. Because
Well,
these people are kind of like very solidly like middle class, maybe the lower end, but you got your sisters in California owning horses. Your brother, I presumed he was doing well, like before losing his job, if he's, a college professor, scholar, doesn't
hold,
have like kids he's paying for.
hold on. He was the America's foremost scholar on
On Proust.
Proust.
Cluse.
What? So just, not just a professor, not
That's
just a
true.
scholar. So
That's
let's
true.
give Frank his due.
So the mom's like, okay, well, I will take her because they can't take her. And the dad's like, well, what are you going to do? And she's like, we'll fly and I'll get a rental. And the dad's like, we can't afford that. And she's like, yes, we can. But, and then this like unleashes a little bit of a thing that's already been brewing. It's like, well, we would be able to afford it if we weren't putting all of this money into your
Mm,
9 steps thing. And he's like, because she's like, I could use a little help bringing it in. And he's like, well, I'm going to be bringing it in as soon as I hear back from Stan Grossman about the book deal. He says it's like a lock, like guaranteed.
right.
And it's like, okay, well, the fact remains we need to get her there. And they're just like arguing back and forth as they're cleaning up from dinner because it's like, okay, then we'll drive. Well, grandpa can't fit in the Miata. And it's like, well, he doesn't have to come. And he's like, I'm coming. I coached her. So then it's like, okay, well, the mom's like, I can't drive the Volkswagen because it's a sick shift. So, like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And then she's like pissed. I love she's like, here, this is dessert. She just drops a box of popsicles on the table. And then
And she grabs one.
and the
Uh,
dad's like, okay, I'll drive, like the four of us. And it's like, okay, well, Frank can't be left alone. And we don't want to just leave Dwayne here. Like, we don't want to, that's too much of a burden on Dwayne
Dwayne, yeah,
to leave him in charge of him. But then they're like, okay, well then Frank has to come with us, and then Dwayne has to come too, because we're not leaving him home alone.
right.
And Dwayne is just like shaking his head, like, no,
Yeah,
no, no, I don't want to go.
he's like adamant.
Yeah, and mom's like, I will give you permission for flight school, like to take flying lessons. Because he was writing on his pad, like, I don't want to go. And she can't.
Yeah, yeah. Don't make me go. Or
Yeah.
and
And then
uh,
he's finally like, he's resigned. He just puts out his hand to shake her hand.
right, like okay, we got a deal. So
And he writes down, but I won't have any fun. And Frank's like, well, we're all with you on that one, Dwayne.
because they go, well, Frank has to go, and he goes, Frank has to go, and he goes, all right, whatever,
So this part's so funny too. Frank and Dwayne are getting ready for bed, and Dwayne writes on his little pad, "Please don't kill yourself tonight." And Frank's like, "I wouldn't do that to you. Not on your watch, Dwayne."
That's right.
Steve Carell's dialogue of this is so funny.
Well, in a way, because you don't know if Dwayne is like actually concerned about him, or it's like, don't
I
do,
don't want to have to deal with this. Don't
right?
put this on me.
I don't want to have to be the one that took the rap for this.
Yeah,
So
but he's like a 16-year-old boy, so of course he would like
yeah.
that's how like you would think. And then they're they're off the next morning in their yellow Volkswagen bus, which is just like iconic. I love it. I watched this and I was like, I want this. And it's interesting, I'm reading that like the writer chose this car because he knew it would be one, it's like a van that would fit all of them, but also just because of the shape of it, that it would be easier to film in.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like the higher ceilings and like kind
Yep.
of, it's not like a
Yep.
minivan where there's like headrests popping up.
Exactly. It's sort of open inside, so
Yeah.
it's
So,
a it's a VW microbus.
yeah. And apparently, as we'll discuss, there are some problems with the car, and those were inspired by real problems that this writer experienced during a childhood trip with the same type of vehicle.
Oh, okay. I could see you driving one of these.
I like just imagine. It'd be great.
I, especially if you went on, took a family trip or whatever.
Hmm.
And they do make new ones, although they are electric now.
Hmm.
They
I'm
don't
gonna look
quite
into them.
they don't quite have the same vibe, but they're pretty close.
I'm
So
pretty close.
yeah.
Save on gas. And so Olive's got her headphones on, so it's like dad's driving, mom's in the front seat, Frank and Olive are in the next row, and then in the back is Dwayne and Grandpa. And Grandpa is talking about how tired he is. And then he just starts being like, I'm so fucking tired. He's just cussing. And they're like, can you stop? And it's like, she's wearing headphones. She can't hear me. Olive, turn around. I have $1 million. Olive, turn around. I have a million. And she does, like, she can't hear him. I also read too that Abigail Breslin really did have headphones in that she couldn't hear what was being said. So
Oh, really?
she couldn't hear this because she was a little kid.
Yeah,
So she didn't know what was being said until she watched the movie.
that's funny.
But also good. Protect the little kid. And then he's like, Dwayne, can you hear me? Like, don't give me the pad. I don't want to see the pad. And he's like, I got something to tell you. Dwayne, fuck a lot of women, Dwayne. Not just one, a lot of women. Especially while you're young, you're jailbait, they're jailbait. Once you turn 18, you can't do that. That's 3 to 5. And he just
He,
keeps going.
he says you should be getting that young stuff. He goes, don't mess with them older women right now. He goes,
Hmm.
go after. But he says this is the voice of experience telling you.
And the dad tries to cut him off and he goes, kindly don't interrupt me, Richard. And he keeps going. And then the dad, Richard tries to push back on him and he goes, I still got Nazi bullets in my ass. And he's like, oh, he must say that all the time. It's like, oh, I know, dad, you got Nazi bullets in your ass. And then we learn, um, my other favorite part of this scene is that Frank is just egging him on and Richard and Cheryl are like, Frank, stop. And he's just like, they're like, the dad, Richard is like, this is what happened at like Sunshine Acres or whatever.
Right. Yeah, the nursing home or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then it's like Frank's like, "What happened at Sunshine Acres?" And they're like, "Don't encourage him, Frank." And he's like, "What happened? I want to know." And then he was doing he was snorting heroin. The mom says he was snorting heroin, and he's talking about how it was paradise because the ratio was like 4 women to every man. And he's like, I had what did he say? I had like
He said
rug burn on my Johnson.
I had second degree burns on my Johnson. He
He's like,
goes,
listen, you might not understand this, Frank, but
yeah, yeah.
he's like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, because at first Frank says, well, did you hate it there? He goes, I loved it there. It was paradise. It was great.
And then Olive chimes in at this point. She takes off her headphones. She goes, "What are you guys talking about?" And the grandpa just goes, "Politics." And she goes, "Oh," and puts her headphones back on. And then this is where the grandpa's like, Dwayne's trying to respond. He's like, "Don't give me the pad. I don't want to see the pad. Don't show me the pad." Because he was going back to his original point of fuck a lot of women, Dwayne.
He keeps harping on that. It's like this is his the greatest life advice he can give to his grandson.
hmm I will also just say here, this is a blended family, so Richard is not Dwayne's dad. We learn.
Right.
So, because I think when Olive went to do the first pageant, Dwayne was visiting his dad. So they all stop for breakfast at like a little, roadside diner kind of situation. And they're getting ready to order, and Olive can't decide what to get. And she says, sorry. And the dad is like, don't say sorry, Olive. It's a sign of weakness, which is like everybody just rolls their eyes at it. They're like, oh my God. He loves this winners and losers stuff all the time. And then everyone orders.
Mom says, oh, you need to keep it under $4.
Yes, yes. So everyone's ordering, and finally, Olive is going to order a waffle, and she says, "What does alamodi mean?" And the waitress says it means with ice cream. And she said, "Okay, I will have a waffle alamodi." And then, of course, Uncle Frank is like, "A la mode" literally means of the fashion in French. A la mode. And the mom's like, "Olive, you got ice cream for breakfast?" And she said, "It's under $4." And the mom's like, "Okay, fair, fair."
Yep, yep. That was the only stipulation. She said,
Yeah,
what's our limit or whatever. You got to stay around $4.
yeah. So she's mom's like, "You're right." But then here comes dad. And he's like, "Olive, are you sure you want to get ice cream?" And the mom is like, "Richard, stop." But he keeps going. He's like, well, because then the grandfather calls him an idiot, and everyone looks mad, and Olive is like, "Why is everybody upset? I don't understand." And the dad is like, she's like, "What's wrong with ice cream?" He's like, "Well, ice cream is made of cream, which comes from cow's milk, which has a lot of fat in it. And fat in your food becomes fat in your body." And they're like, the mom's like, "There's nothing wrong with being fat." And he's like, "Well, when you watch Miss America, are those women fat or are they skinny?" She's like, "They're skinny." It's like, I bet they don't eat ice cream. And then the ice cream comes and Olive pushes it away. And you can tell the rest of them are just like staring daggers at the dad, like, look at what you did.
Right.
But then, because like it's moments like this that I love, because they're like a mess of a family, but they're also like very loving. So they just like, the grandfather's like, "Oh, well, if you're not going to eat that ice cream, I'm going to have some. Frank, don't you want some?" And then so like the mom, Uncle Frank, Dwayne, Grandpa all start digging in. They're like, "Oh, this is good." Like Dwayne's like putting it in Olive's face, like,
Yeah.
"Mmm,
And he goes, boy, I feel bad for anybody that's not having this ice cream,
yes." And Olive's just like, "Wait, save me some." And then she eats some. So it's like, "Ha, take that, Dad." Oh, and but the dad tries to start saying something again, actually, at that moment when she eats it, and the mom is like, You better stop."
Yep.
And he finally does stop. Meanwhile, he's still trying to call Stan Grossman on his flip phone because it's 2006. and he's not getting through. But he does know that he's in Scottsdale, Arizona. So keeping in mind that we're going from the pageants in California, it's in Redondo Beach. I
Also
think,
noticed too, this was during the time, and I remember this like when everybody wore their cell phones on their belt.
yes.
He's got a little clip on his, but I remember buying, like stuff in this. I think this is the first year that I got a cell phone for work. I had a BlackBerry
Mm,
and got a pouch or a clip or something, so you wear it on your belt. So you
mm.
didn't. Nobody thought to put their phone. Well, they weren't small enough to put in your pocket, really.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
kind of thick and bulky. So
yes. Oh, this is what the mom is like, you know what? Why don't I? Because they talk about like how much more driving they have to do, and the mom's like, why don't I try driving?
right.
I got to learn at some point how to drive a stick shift. So good a time as any, right? We got a lot of driving to do. And she's trying to get it started, but the car won't start. And of course, the dad is like, well, you're not like pressing the
Hmm.
clutch down far enough. And she's like, my foot is on the floor. Like he's criticizing her, but then he tries it and it still doesn't work. So they go to a mechanic shop and the clutch is shot. It'll take days to order the part. I love the guy at the mechanic shop is like, well, it's the weekend, so we're not gonna be able to order it until Tuesday, and then it's probably not gonna get here till Thursday. And it's like, oh geez. And then they're like, is there a dealership around here? And he's like, well, it's the weekend, so they're probably not open. He's like, he keeps saying it's the weekend. They're like, yeah, we know. It's the
Yeah.
weekend. But then he tells them, you really only need like you can go from third gear to fourth gear without the clutch. You really only need the clutch to like get it going. Go from like first to second. So if you can just park on a hill, then get rolling, get up to 15, 20 miles per hour, then you can just go to third and then you're good.
Do you ever do this? We used to do
I've
this.
I've never driven a stick shift car.
It's what we called popping the clutch, where you didn't have to worry about, you didn't have to get it into first or second. You would just roll, and then once you got up to about 15, 20 miles an hour, you could just pop it into third, and then
Hmm.
it would take off. So
Hmm.
yeah, you learn to do it if especially if your clutch was, you couldn't replace the clutch plate or the clutch pedal was going bad and stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, we did this. So
Yeah,
a
I have
friend of mine
never.
had a Volkswagen Bug, and that's where I
Oh,
learned to do it. So, with
nice.
the stick shift on the floor. So,
Hmm. I've never driven a stick shift car.
oh,
So
okay. Oh, okay.
it has not come up. So maybe one day, like the mom, I will learn how to drive it. But also no one I know has one for me to learn.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see them very often anymore. So, but
No.
that used to be the standard, was a stick
Yeah.
shift, and automatic transmission was a rarity. So,
Yeah. Now it's the opposite. So the problem at this moment, they're not on a hill. They're parked on the side of the road at a mechanic shop, which they're all just like it's like in the desert, which the southwest of the United States mostly is. I love Olive's just like rolling tires around for fun.
yeah.
It's like those old toys that were like the hoop with you hit with a stick. She's doing that, but with a tire. So they have to push it to get going. So the mechanic guy does help them. And so they have a whole plan. The dad has the driver's door open. He's pushing there. And the rest of them are in the back. So they get going. And first, Grandpa gets in. And then Olive has to go. And it's hilarious because it's moving. So you have to run to catch up. And then, like,
Hmm.
the person pulls you in. And then Cheryl gets in the passenger seat. And then but Frank is having trouble keeping up. So Dwayne has to kind of push him. But he makes it in. And then Dwayne is the last person. And they shut the door and they're off. And I love it. Like, everyone's kind of like, invigorated by this. Like they're like, this is
Yeah.
kind of fun. Especially
Yeah.
Frank. He's like, Noah gets left behind. Outstanding. Outstanding soldier.
Yeah.
Like even as he's running, he's saying this. Like, um, and then, they continue going and Richard is telling Frank about how he pitched the 9 steps and again the plan with like the book deal and all this stuff. And Frank does not care at all. He's like, wow, that's amazing. And Richard's like, I can detect your sarcasm, Frank, and I just want you to know that sarcasm is the refuge of losers. It's how sarcasm is how losers bring winners to their level. And Frank goes, wow, what amazing information. How much do I owe you? And he goes, that one's on the house.
I wrote they kept egging each other on. They just keep firing back at each
Oh,
other.
really? Oh, really? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that energy. Like, oh, really? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. And then he's Richard's getting a call on his cell phone, finally getting a call back from Stan Grossman, but the reception is bad. This is again very 2006. I feel like now you gotta
It-
be in like a rural area to have no reception.
I was going to say here it would be satellites between satellites and everything else, but now, yeah, back then it was like, yeah, probably 75% of the country was dead zone.
Yeah, especially when you're in like the middle of the desert.
Right.
So they pull over at like a gas station. And this is like quite a gas station trip. A lot happening here. So Richard goes to a payphone, and you can see it's obviously disappointing news. The book is
Yeah.
not selling.
He's crestfallen.
Yeah. Then Frank says he's going to go get a drink, and the grandpa gives him some money, and he's like, go get me some porn and get one for yourself too.
Well,
Yes.
he tells him, he says, look, he goes, I don't want any of that airbrush stuff. He goes, I want really nasty porn. He goes, I want the dirtier the better. And Frank is like smiling at him. Okay, all right, I'll take care of you. And he gives him a 20. So it's like, this was back when, well, nowadays it probably only buys you one magazine, but you could probably get three or four back then for that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
or so I've been told.
Right, right. The grandpa specifically, to quote him, and again, this is his language, not mine. He tells Frank to get himself a fag rag. So, he's open-minded.
Because he says, get something nice for yourself.
Exactly. So, and then Olive is off just like playing, and the mom's like, don't go too far. She's like, I'm gonna go dance over there.
Yeah, I'm going to go practice my routine or something or
Yeah.
whatever.
So Frank goes in and he's picking out all the different porn. It's so funny because he's like, that one. No, 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 no. One down. Yes,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
one. That one.
Because this was back in the day when it wasn't out on, it wasn't, you couldn't pick it up yourself. It was behind the counter.
Yeah, and any of the like the front stuff, the like front covers that have boobs are like covered by like brown, it's
Right.
like a piece of cardboard or something, or like
Yeah.
brown paper is
Yeah.
covering
Yeah. I
it.
was going to say because, and they're all individually wrapped. It's like they're wrapped up so people couldn't just look at them, without buying them. So, I miss the good old days.
So,
I'm waxing nostalgic.
so Frank is in there picking it, and then a guy comes up behind him and is like, Frank? And it's the grad student he had fallen in love with. And he's like, oh my God, I'm here with Larry. And Frank like hides his wrist behind him because they're still bandaged up. And he's like, oh, great. It's so awkward.
Oh God. And
And
yeah,
then
because
the
he's
guy sees what he's buying and he's like, oh, okay, well, like, have a good, oh, because like he asked Frank what he's doing, and Frank's like, oh, I heard you got fired. He's like, oh, no, no, I quit. It's like, oh,
hmm
okay, good. And he's like, yeah, I just like need to do something different. And he's like, oh, yeah, of course. It's like, I'm just
yeah.
taking some time to like figure out my next step. He's like, oh, like Larry's here and da da da. And then he sees the porn and he's kind of like, oh, okay, well, bye.
Yeah.
And then he goes out to Larry Sugarman's little, I don't know, Dodge Sebring convertible.
Some sort of sportsy car. Yeah. So,
And like that he looks over and Frank like hides so he
yeah.
can't see him. And then he like just takes the porn and is getting ready to like storm out. And the guy at the counter's like, "You forgot your slushie, man." And then outside, Cheryl asks Richard about what happened, and he's like, "There's no deal." And she's like, "Well, what does that mean?" And he was like, "It means we're fucked."
Yeah,
And she's
yeah.
like, "Did you even try to negotiate?" And he's like, "Yes, of course I did." And she's just pissed. He like gets in the car and she's just standing there, like
And he's like,
staring daggers at him.
let's just go. Just
Yes.
go. Just
Because
get in.
she's sending a very strong psychic message of, "Didn't I fucking tell you? I told you so. And now we got nothing."
Zippo. Nada.
So she's really pissed. So finally she gets in. Frank gets in and he's pissed. Like the mood is bad. And so then they get going. And something's missing in the van.
Yeah.
And it's only Dwayne who writes on his pad, "Where's Olive?" That they're like,
Right.
"Oh shit." They left her at the gas station. To Olive's credit, she's standing in the front next to the payphone. She did not leave. She's like, "I'm here."
uh
But they can't stop because then they'll have to push it to start again. So they're like, "Olive, we can't stop, so you gotta run." So she has to
right.
run,
Yeah.
and then they like yank her in.
Because they're swinging around the gas station. Yeah, and she has to
Yeah, they
keep
just
up.
swing. It's so funny. And she's like, she's not like an athletic little kid.
No, I was going to say, yeah, she's not
She's got
like
a little belly. She's so cute.
she
But
is.
she's not like one
What?
that's out. She doesn't play sports, okay? She's a dancer. She's a
Yeah,
performer.
yeah. She doesn't look like the what's her name from Willy Wonka. The little girl that does the blueberries.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
Violet Beauregard.
yeah. So, but she's also not skinny like Dwayne.
Yeah. That part cracks me up. She's just standing there by the payphone.
Uh-huh.
Okay, come on, Olive, run.
Not panicking. Just
She's so chill. She's a great
yeah,
kid. I want to have a
yeah.
kid like that. And it is really nice. This next moment is sweet. This is why I love this movie. There's like so much like mixed together that the grandpa kind of leans up behind Richard and, puts his arms around him and is like, "Listen, I'm like really proud of you. You tried something, like you put yourself out there, and that is way more than most people can say. So like I'm proud of you." And at
He
first
said,
Richard's,
including myself. He said,
yeah,
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 even I didn't do that. So,
yeah. And then at first Richard's like, "Thanks, Dad." But then, the dad kind of pats him on the shoulder and then Richard like reaches back and like holds his hand and is like,
yeah,
"Thank you,
yeah.
Dad." It like
Thank
took
you.
a second to like for him to actually take it in. Because I think, it is hard when you're like pissed off, you're disappointed, and someone tries to like encourage you. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's
Or
like,
just,
okay, this is like my dad who's really trying to like be kind to me. So like, let me.
yeah. And his dad does, come across as like he's very sincere about it,
His dad comes across that he would not say something like that if he didn't mean it.
Exactly. Yeah.
If he thought
Because,
it was BS, he would tell you it was BS.
right.
So that's, another nice moment.
It was very sweet, a very genuine moment.
Hmm. So then they all stop at a hotel for the night and then they're gonna get up bright and early to finish their drive the next day. They're definitely in Arizona because they're not far from Flagstaff because they're
Oh,
like
right.
20 miles from Flagstaff. So, um, Olive is gonna stay in the room with Grandpa, and then Frank and Dwayne are sharing a room, and then Richard and Cheryl, the parents, are in a room. And as soon as they get in the room, Cheryl's like, "We need to talk." And Richard's like, "Can we just like leave it alone until we just need to like get through this weekend and then we can do it. Like, can we just leave it alone?" And she's like, "No."
No, no.
And then cuts to Dwayne and Frank's room. Frank's getting ready for bed, and Dwayne's just laying on the bed listening through the wall to them fight. And Frank's like, "Oh, you don't need to hear that." And he turns on the TV, and it's like a George Bush press conference. Um, but Dwayne turns off the TV and just listens to them fight again and smiles because
I
he's
was gonna
just,
read, and he's got this big smile on his face, like, oh, this this makes me so happy.
yes, he's just like a asshole
Yeah.
teenager, basically.
Yes.
In Olive and Grandpa's room, they are rehearsing. They're practicing her
Her
growls.
growls, yeah, which, you
You
know,
wonder, like, where, what?
what-
Maybe she's doing an animal themed routine. Maybe she's doing animal impressions.
but he's got her limbering up, like doing, her growls
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, that was
And like
funny.
really committing. He's like, no, no,
Yes.
no, more.
Yeah.
You know, the faces they're making when they do that are so great. And then oh my God, I love her. Even though she was a little kid, Abigail Breslin is like acting. She's good. Like this scene here,
Yep.
she's good. She gets all nervous and she asks Grandpa if she's pretty. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're the most beautiful girl. I'm in love with you, and it's not because of your brains or your personality, it's just your looks." And then she cries because she's afraid of being a loser because her dad hates losers. And it's like, I'm gonna pause here and say, parents, your kids listen to you. I think the dad thinks he's being encouraging, but he's really just like creating fear in her because he's sending the message that like being a loser is the worst thing you can be and it's horrible and I hate them. And like that's what she gets.
Right.
So it's like there's no room for me to lose at all because then my dad will hate me. She's not. So clearly he's not communicating the message well.
I don't think that's in the 9 steps. So
No.
no.
And the grandpa says, and again, I think this is good advice. This is good advice. A loser is someone who is so afraid of not winning that they don't even try. And you are trying, so that makes you a winner. And he was like, "Guess what? And we are gonna have fun." And she's like, "Yeah, we are." And then I love that scene too. Again, there's just like such
Oh,
good like tender moments in between all the like other craziness and nonsense.
and like you said, it's you expect it almost from Alan Arkin, but to get
Mm-hmm.
that from Abigail, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's that's really some good work right there.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not she just like was, oh, I'm just being myself, I'm being a 10-year-old girl, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I got from that. It's like a
Yeah.
little girl worried about, does she look pretty? Is she as pretty as the other girls, or whatever it may
Mm-hmm.
be?
Yeah. And I think it's just such a good illustration though of like that's how little kids like take in what they hear from
Right.
their families. Even if you are not saying you're a loser, you're fat, but they
Right.
like absorb the messages.
Exactly.
That's why it's always like I read this, someone said this online one time, but I agree that it's like, especially as like a mom, like if you had body image, you have a daughter and you had body image issues, no, you don't. Because whatever you say about yourself and your body, you're saying about hers. She hears that. And that's like what Olive's doing, right? She hears how her dad talks about winners and losers.
Right.
She hears what her dad was saying about the ice cream.
Hmm. And about, how the people in the Miss America pageant do.
Uh-huh.
Are they
Uh-huh.
skinny? Or are they fat?
Yeah. So, ugh, at the dad is what I say. But the dad is like, you know what? I'm not a loser, I'm a winner. So he and the mom are sitting there looking very down and distraught after their fight. They're
Mm,
both on sitting on opposite sides of the bed, like head in
mm,
hands. And then
hmm.
he's like, you know what? No, no. So he gets up because again, they're 23 miles from Scottsdale, which is where he knows, as he's been saying, Stan Grossman is at some conference or whatever to like, and he's supposed to be pushing this book pitch.
Right.
And he goes and he's gonna try to take the car, but he can't push the car by himself. So then he sees this group of kids with like little mopeds and e-bikes. So he takes one of their motorized bikes and rides on the highway 23 miles. to Scottsdale.
And also at this point, can I just say so? And I don't know if I guess he made a maybe borrowed one or rented one, paid him or
Mm.
whatever. But the helmet he's wearing, it's an old German Nazi helmet. It looked he, it's like one of those ones that like the Sons of Anarchy would wear, while they're
Yes. Or it's like the guy, the one like crazy guy in Animal House, the
Animal
like
House D-Day.
D-Day. Yes.
D-Day, yeah, who wore, yeah, his helmet looked like that, looked like a German, Wehrmacht helmet.
Yes. So, and it's very like a sort of like sputtery thing. Eh.
Yep,
Like, so while he's doing that, we see Frank. He's reminiscing. He has a picture of him and the grad student in his wallet. He's reminiscing. Grandpa's in the bathroom doing his heroin, as you do. And then Richard arrives at the hotel in Scottsdale. He finds Stan Grossman. It's funny because he's like calling him, he's asking at the front desk, but then he hears when he's calling him on his cell phone, he can hear his phone ringing. And then
right.
he walks up to him and he's like holding his cell phone. And he's like pissed. And he kind of confronts him. They go outside, and Stan, who is a fun cameo here,
Hmm.
it's Bryan Cranston, who you might know from such things as Breaking Bad or Malcolm in the Middle or various other things. Those are probably like two of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Um, he's been in like movies and other TV shows and Broadway and stuff, but
Yeah.
he's Walter White
I was
basically
gonna
to
say,
most
yeah, I was
people.
gonna say, I think, although I knew him first from Malcolm in the Middle.
Me too. He's the dad from Malcolm in the Middle.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Which he was brilliant in.
Yes. Anyways, he's Stan Grossman, and he's like, Richard is like, okay, like what's our play? Like what's the next
What's the
step?
next
We're not
step?
just gonna give
Right,
up. And he's like, there is no next step. It's not selling, and it's because no one knows who you are or cares who you are.
right.
And Richard's like, oh, come on, well, we're not gonna give up. Winners don't give up, right? And he's like, there is nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I tried it and it's not working. And then Richard's like just kind of dejected and just rides the bike back to the hotel.
Well, he tells him, he goes, well, this is good because this is how I'm going to get out of it. He goes, that's it, you're out. And he goes,
Yeah.
I'm going to make this work on my own. So
You're a loser.
yeah, yeah,
You're
you're a
not a
loser.
winner.
Right.
So he goes back, and then the next morning, Olive wakes them up. And they're like, Olive, what do you want? And she says, Grandpa won't wake up. And then everyone springs to action, and then we see them, they're riding behind the ambulance. It is a little bit comical to imagine them having to start the car like
Start the,
that to follow the ambulance.
yeah, we didn't see that part. So,
They're like, we'll be right behind you. Olive here is wearing her red cowboy boots. She like only wears pink and red, but she's got like this little like tank top and little shorts and then red cowboy boots, which is again such a little girl thing. I had white ones when I was a little girl.
oh,
I think I was like 4, but I remember I like got them for Christmas and I like immediately had to like we
wear
would
them
do stuff at my
everywhere.
house and then we would go to my grandparents' house. Both my
Uh-huh.
grandparents lived like around the corner. So we sort of started our house and we went to one grandparent's house and then the next one. I always had to wear something new. And those white cowboy boots I was wearing all day.
Was your dream to become a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader? Is that what the where that came from?
No,
So,
I think I just thought they were cool. I
well, I'm
probably just
sure they
saw someone
were.
on TV wearing something like that and I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
cool. I don't know. I probably saw like Reba McEntire wearing them. I was like, that's sweet. But grandpa dies and everyone's very sad, especially mom and Olive. And the mom is like telling them, like, Olive and Dwayne, like, grandpa loved you very much. Like,
Right.
he thinks you're great, all this stuff. And the doctor is like, someone will come talk to you about like the next steps with the remains. And I love, he like steps 2 steps away that he goes, Linda!
Just yells, yeah, like
And so Linda comes and she says like she's their death liaison, I think is what
I thought it was bereavement
bereavement
liaison.
liaison, I'm sorry.
Liaison. No, no, it's it.
She's played by all of these cameos actually are like people you've seen in other
Oh
things.
yeah. So
So,
she's
She's been in a bunch of TV shows. She was in Spider-Man No Way Home. She was on Women's Murder Club, NYPD Blue, NCIS, Barry, Chicago Med, CSI Vegas. So like she's been in a lot of like I've
Yeah.
seen her in other things too, and I've been like, oh, that's the lady from
Hmm.
I think of her as like this.
Yeah.
And she was a detective on one episode of Criminal Minds,
Oh,
the
okay.
first season. But anyways, they're talking about what the logistics are because they're from New Mexico. They're trying to get to California because like they have arrangements for him in New Mexico, but there's all this paperwork that they have to fill out and
We're,
file to get his body across state lines. And that's going to take like days. It's the weekend, remember? And he's like, "Oh, like we can't do that. Can we like just leave him here and then like come back?" And she's like, "No, that would be like abandoning the body. Like you can't do that." And so there's like not a good solution right now. And he keeps like trying to like negotiate with her and this is a line that like as a social worker, I feel so deeply in my soul. I never felt it before, but like in my life now, I'm like, "Oh my God." My supervisor brought it up one time, I remember. And she goes, "Sir, you're not the only one here who's had someone die today." And it's like, true.
true dat.
"Sir, you're not the only person who's had somebody die here today, okay?" And then he's like, okay, I'm sorry. Can we just go see him, see the remains?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course." So she takes them, and then mom tells Olive, like, "We'll do the pageant next year. Okay, I promise we'll bring you back." And dad is like, "Absolutely not. We've come all this way. We're doing this pageant."
He says, "Yeah, we've come 700 miles. There's no way we're turning around now."
And he's kind of looking around, checking the windows, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna take him out of here. Frank, Dwayne, you go around outside so you can catch him." And the mom is like, "Do not move. Do not. Do not." And the dad's like, "Go, go, go." And they're kind of just like, And they finally go. And he's like, "Dad wouldn't want to be here. This is what dad wants. He trained Olive. He wants her to go to the
Right.
pageant. He'd want to be there." And the mom's like, "You know what? Okay, fuck it. Fine." So they're like tucking, like, he's covered by a sheet. They're like, and they're like, "Olive, you keep watch." So they're at a bed just surrounded, like with the curtains pulled. So Olive's like peeking out the curtain, keeping watch. The mom and dad are like tucking the sheet around him to make him like a mummy. And they've opened the window, and Frank and Dwayne are outside to like catch him so they could like pass him through the window. And then it's like he's like dead weight for lack of a better word. And so they're kind of like they like tear the sheet and like they're like, "Oh God, he's heavy." Like Frank and Dwayne like barely catch it, but like the mom goes around outside with Olive to help outside. The dad comes running out too. And it's so funny, like when Frank and Dwayne are like trying to suddenly go out, they can't figure out the door. They're
Right. And
like
then
touching it, and they finally find like the button to open it, and they're zooming out.
and the bereavement liaison is like looking like, what's taking him so long?
Yeah,
You know,
she's
or
like
what's
on the phone, but like
phone?
kind of like
Yeah.
looking like I will say the pep talk that he gives to get them all on board of smuggling the body out. I'm like, this is the best. This is the most motivational thing he said all movie.
Exactly. So,
Maybe he has a little something. So, it's just so funny that Olive's like, "Hurry up, hurry up. This
yeah.
child, you have this child involved in your smuggling a body."
Yeah, because she goes, "Is Grandpa dead?" And, yes, honey, he's passed on, and it's like, so
Hmm.
okay, so, oh, we're gonna take Grandpa with us.
Mm. So they get him in the trunk and they have to do their rolling start. And one of the things that's like a recurring thing that makes me laugh is every time they're pushing the van, Frank is like, "Did you know that I'm the preeminent Proust scholar in the United States?" And he says it like it's a joke, but it is funny because it's like, what the hell am I doing?
Exactly. So I'm out here pushing a VW bus,
Hmm.
but I am the foremost American scholar, Proust scholar in the United States.
Wee
So,
wee. They're driving again, and Olive's like, Dad, what's gonna happen to Grandpa? And he just like doesn't answer. So she asks Frank if there's a heaven, and he says no one knows for sure. And she's like, but what do you think? And he's like, well, what do you think? And she was like, I think there is one. And Frank is like, do you think I'll get in? And she was like, yeah, yeah, for sure. It's like just a little sweet moment. And again, it is
it,
like this is how like little kids try
uh-huh.
to understand and like make sense of someone dying.
Because I get the feeling that Frank probably really didn't believe in heaven,
No.
and but didn't want to say anything, to hurt her. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
even though they
Hmm.
talked about, oh, we're being honest, and tell them how you tried to kill yourself. So,
Hmm.
but in this, Frank says no. Yeah, I like how he said. He goes, "What do you believe?"
Hmm. And then he's like, do you think
Yeah,
you think I can go?
yeah. She goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going to hold you to that.
Hmm.
So
Which like honestly, he probably like needed to hear that a little bit, you
yeah, a
know?
little bit.
He's
Yeah,
feeling a little down on himself
right,
lately.
like he's like, am I worthy?
Hmm.
am I
And
uh
your niece thinks you're worthy. So
yeah, exactly. She
good an
likes you.
assessment as anybody. So then, and Cheryl is comforting Richard. So obviously they've had some fights, but she's got the
It's
hand
his
on his shoulder,
dad.
rubbing his
Yeah,
back. Yeah. Like this matters more than like that other stuff. That other stuff they can figure out.
right.
And then someone cuts them off on the highway, and Richard honks at him, but it won't like the horn won't stop going. Like it's stuck. So it's like meh, 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 and it's like sort of like fading in and out. It's a horrible
Yeah,
noise. It's like
it's almost like it's dying.
like it's a bad noise. And then they get pulled over by like a it looks like a chip, like
Right.
California Highway Patrol chips, you know?
Who's looks like he's eating a lot of chips.
It is. This is another cameo.
Right.
It's Dean Norris, who's also on Breaking Bad, but he's been in like every like television cop show basically.
I was gonna say, and he always plays a cop.
He's been in like The Unit and like I think he's probably been on an episode of like NYPD Blue or like
Yep.
whatever. He was on most recently for me, I remember him and maybe you do too. He was on Law and Order Organized Crime as Elliot Stabler's brother.
Oh, right. That. Yeah. Yep. I forgot about that.
So the cop pulls them over and he's like, everybody just pretend to be normal, okay? I feel like that was in the trailer. Like I remember hearing
Yeah.
that.
Which really, if you think about it, that's you're asking big things out of this family. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. Everyone just pretend to be normal. So
Um. So
not try to be normal, just pretend to be normal.
pretend to be normal. And the cop is like, you keep honking. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's stuck. And he's like, okay. And Richard is being so weird that the cop is like, sir, can you step out of the vehicle, please? And then he's like, don't open the trunk. And the cop's like, what? He's like, don't open the trunk. It's not illegal. And the cop's like, sir, you've just given me probable cause to search your trunk. And he keeps saying stuff. And he's like, I advise you to stop talking.
Right? Yeah.
So finally, the cop goes back and opens the trunk, and the porn magazines fall out. And the cop thinks that is what Richard was talking about. He does
Was
not notice there's a big thing wrapped in a white sheet. Perhaps he just thinks that's luggage. I don't know. Or like a rolled up blanket.
he he's the world's worst cop.
Yeah,
So
not exactly observant. So,
these are not the droids you're looking for.
exactly. And then he's kind of like, uh-huh. Oh, look at you. He's just looking
Yeah,
through it. He's like, oh, look at
yeah,
this. Oh, that's a good one. Like,
yeah.
oh,
He's like,
oh,
oh,
you're into the good stuff, huh? And I love he
yeah,
waves to the wife, and the wife's just like, what the
yeah,
hell?
yeah. And he,
And then he comes across Frank's porn, which is it's got I think it's clearly like gay porn, it's dudes. I think it has a guy in a cop outfit on the front, but it's a
right.
cop outfit in the way of like the Village People cop
I was gonna
outfit.
say, yeah, it was
Like a
sort of,
male
yeah.
stripper cop
Hmm.
outfit, and it's called Buns and Ammo, as opposed to Guns and Ammo for the uninitiated. And he's just the cop's just like, "Oh, okay. Anyways, you're good. Like,
Yeah,
have a
I'm
good
not gonna
day."
give you a ticket. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just go about your way. So
So they have to, he's like, thank you, sir. The cop rides away on his motorcycle and they get back to pushing, but now the horn is still honking.
stuck, still stuck.
And then the next obstacle, Olive, when they were in the hospital, was like playing, she was like taking a bunch of brochures and stuff like that from the waiting room. And some of them have eye tests. So she's giving Dwayne eye tests. He's like pointing at like all the ways the letters are turned. And then there's a color blindness test. And if you've seen them, it's like a circle with a bunch of like colored dots. And so it's like, most of the dots are red and then there's like a letter in green. So if you're not colorblind, you can see the letter in green. You can say what the letter is. And she's showing Dwayne, she's like, what's the letter in the circle? And he's just shaking his head, like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And she's like, no, like in the circle. Like, what's the letter right there? Like, you can see it. And he can't see it.
And we can all see it. I mean, those of
Yeah.
us who aren't colorblind.
Yeah. And he's kind of like getting a little distressed. And Frank is like, he's kind of tuned into what's happening. And Frank's like, you can't see that at all. And he's like, he writes down, like, what? And Frank's like, Dwayne, I think you're colorblind. And
Uh-huh.
he once again is pointing. He's like, what? And he's like, I don't, you can't fly jets if you're colorblind. I will say I Googled this and you can't fly like fighter jets if you're colorblind.
Right. I was gonna say you
You
can
can be
still
a
fly.
commercial pilot if you're
Yeah, and you
colorblind.
could fly cargo aircraft because I've dealt
Yeah.
with, guys who flew the big C-130s and
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah, you're right. You can't fly fighter aircraft.
Yeah. So that's what he wanted to do. He can't do that because he's colorblind. And he starts freaking out. He's
It,
like, he needs to get out. He's like claustrophobic suddenly. He's like hitting the roof of the car and it's gonna like,
it, it's
so
like full on panic attack, right? I
yes.
mean, or anxiety attack or however you want to call it.
And Frank is like, we need to pull over. And the dad's like, no, we can't. We're already late because him and the mom were talking about how, like, are we going to make it?
Right.
And because they got to be there by 3. And yeah, they're like, the mom's like, what's happening? What's happening? And Frank is like, pull over, pull. They're all kind of yelling at the same time. And they're like, okay, okay, we're going to pull over. And they pull over just like by like a field. And Dwayne goes running out and just like kind of stands like down the hill and just stands in the field and he just screams out, fuck. Like, fuck.
Yeah, the first words he said all movie, and that's his first word out. And yes, and I said, yeah, he's just completely just off,
He's lost it. He's like
lost
so
it.
upset. He's like screaming and crying. And it's like the mom goes down when he kind of quiets down and she's like, hey, like, we gotta go. And he's like, I won't go with you. You all are not my family. I hate you and you're all losers. And she goes back up and she's just like, I don't know. Like the dad's like, we gotta go. And she's like, we just gotta wait. It just needs to take time.
Yeah,
And the dad's like, Olive, do you want to go talk to him? And she's like, don't send her. But Olive is
yeah.
already
Uh,
on her way
uh,
down.
Olive's
She's
like
like,
halfway down the hill by now.
yeah. She's like,
So
all right, bopping around in her cowboy boots.
yeah,
And I love it. There's so many good moments. She just like goes down next to him and like puts her arm around him.
yeah,
And then he's kind of like, okay, let's go.
yeah.
And then they go up the hill and he's like, making sure she doesn't fall. He eventually just picks her up and
Picks
carries
her
her
up
the
because
rest of the
she's like
way.
slipping a little bit in her cowboy boots
Yeah.
and stuff, and then and he, yeah, yeah, you're right. It's a great moment. So
Yeah. Because again, it's like you can have so much like frustration and hostility for your family, but like there is also so much love.
yeah, I mean, it's still your family.
Yeah. And he apologizes also for what he said. He's like, I was very upset. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like big of him. That's very mature
It,
for someone
it,
who's in high
it,
school.
it is. I mean, like he said, he goes, I was, I was, yeah, I was very upset. I was, but I didn't mean those things, and I'm sorry I said those. So,
Exactly. So they get back going and they're finally in Redondo Beach and they see the hotel, but they can't figure out it's the days before GPS. So they can't figure out how to like they're like taking the exit, but it's like it doesn't take them to the hotel. Olive's like, you're passing it, you're passing it.
who hasn't done this? I mean, I've done
Yeah.
this. It's like,
Yes, it's like sometimes it's when you're going to a place that has like a lot of hotels right there, it's so hard to figure out like where is the entrance to this hotel that I'm
to
trying to go
this
to.
right, or you think you're on the exit road, and all it does is take you right beside of it,
Right. And so
and
that's
it,
what's happening. And then he just like the dad's like, "No, we're not gonna miss this." So he just gets off, drives through a parking gate. It's like adjacent to the hotel parking lot. So he drives over like a garden into
yeah.
there onto like the boardwalk kind of like it's a pedestrian path. And then they still miss the turn from there. So he has to kind of just again without stopping whip around and then turn in.
Yeah, because you
And
can't
like
brake and back up or whatever.
right.
So
So he just like sort of makes a loop and they make it in and they just have to sort of stop. Like they don't park. And they stop and as soon as they stop, Uncle Frank books it into the building and he runs so funny. I gotta say, I think this is like Steve Carell's version of like, how would a gay man run? And it's like not a lot of arm movement.
right. Uh, Remember me a little bit of Forrest Gump.
Yeah, yeah. But like if he like didn't move his
It
arms.
did move his arms, right? Yeah. So
So Frank gets there and then Olive and Mom are right behind him and they get to the registration table and it's being packed up and they're talking to the lady and they're like, she needs to register. She's a contestant. We just traveled. And they're like, well, you should have been here on time. Cause it's like, it was supposed to end at 3 and it's like 3:04 or something. And the dad comes in and he gets on his knees and begs. And the assistant, the computer guy, Kirby, is like, it's fine. I will register them. And the lady's like, well, it's your time.
yeah,
I'll
because she's
say,
like, oh, I've got to do a hair check or something.
yes.
Like yeah.
These are a couple more cameos, and actually one of them has been in a movie we watched. So the pageant lady, she's credited as pageant official Jenkins.
Uh-huh.
Um, that she's played by Beth Grant, who's been in a million things. But she was in To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. She's one of the ladies in the town.
Oh, I remember. Yes. Uh-huh.
Hmm. But she's also been in Donnie Darko, No Country for Old Men, and Time to Kill. She was on the Mindy Project on TV. She's one of those people that's like also in a million things. Like I could name a few: Rain Man, Child's Play 2, Speed, Pushing Daisies, The Artist, As I Lay Dying, Jackie, A Series of Unfortunate Events, Dollface, Grace and Frankie, like a ton.
Probably, made a
Matchstick
very, very
Men.
good living, at the
Yes. Yes. She's still out there. She's 76. She's
good for
working.
her.
Yeah. And then the guy Kirby is played by Wallace Langham, who is another person that I think is like you've seen a million things. He was in The Larry Sanders Show, Veronica's Closet, CSI, Weird Science, Daddy Daycare, Social Network, a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so he agrees to do it, and the other lady's like, "Well, it's your time,"
Hmm.
and he's like, "It'll take like 5 minutes. It's fine." So they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." I love Dwayne comes in and he hates it there. And it is crazy, right? Like child pageants. If you've ever watched Toddlers and Tiaras, like ever seen any child pageants, like these are children, right? Olive is 7. They're getting spray tanned. They're getting their makeup airbrushed. They've got like huge hair on, a lot of
Big
it
bouffant hairdos.
fake hair attached to their little tiny heads.
What? It's not really
Yeah.
theirs?
Some of them, I don't know that if any of them did here, but they wear fake teeth that look like they wear
Oh,
like a flipper of like it looked like very white like adult teeth, but in like a
really?
little
Those are
7-year-old mouth. They look crazy.
no kidding. That's fake. Those are fake teeth in some of those.
Yeah, I don't know if any of them like in this, but like if you watch Toddlers and Tiaras,
Oh,
like
they do.
a
They
bunch
wear
of
that.
like little kids are wearing like I guess because like little kid teeth aren't like perfect because they're gonna fall out.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
But they have these like you know how like adults look like when they get veneers? It's
yeah,
like a flipper of that. But
yeah.
in a child's mouth, they look nuts. They look like a doll in a bad way.
Oh, okay.
In a Chucky way. Um
Ooh, scary.
yeah. So Frank and Dwayne are sitting. Frank is looking through the newspaper and he sees a full page ad for a book by Larry Sugarman, who is described as America's #1 Proust scholar. And he just closes the newspaper and puts it down. And I love Dwayne's like, "Do you want to get out of here?" And he's like, "Yeah." Oh yeah, the after Kirby checks them in, he's like, "Can I do anything else for you?" And Richard's like, "Do you know the number for a funeral home around here?"
And Kirby's
And
like,
I guess. But he
maybe?
does call one and he has them come get the body out of and he says like, "Oh, we thought he was just." He basically makes it sound like he died in the car on the road trip, which is why he's
Right.
in the car.
We thought he was napping, and when he didn't wake up, we realized, it's
Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, where is he?" And he's like showing he's in the trunk because you would think with that story he'd be sitting in a seat. But
right.
no, he's
Yeah,
in the
but no,
trunk
it
wrapped in a
wrapped up in a
sheet.
sheet.
And they're like, "Okay." But they do get him packed up and give him personal effects. So like he's being taken care of. Also because eventually that would have started smelling.
Exactly. So,
So Olive's getting ready backstage. The guy Kirby comes and he's like, "Oh, Olive, I need your music." And she pops it out of her CD player, 2006. Yay. And hands it. And the guy's like, "This is your music? Did you pick this?" And she goes, "No, my grandpa picked it." And he's
yeah.
like,
Uh,
"Okay,
and he goes, "What track?" And she goes, "Track 12." And he goes,
all right."
"Yep, we're on it."
And then it's time for the actual pageant to start. So Richard goes in to sit down and he sits by this really big, like biker looking dude.
Who does
Like,
have the jeans vest on with all the colors and stuff on it, the patches, and then, like you said, like Sons of Anarchy.
yeah. Yeah, he's not credited, but I feel like I've seen that guy before too.
Or Sam Crow, as Sons of Anarchy motorcycle,
Oh, okay.
yeah, uh, Royal or some organization. So,
Hmm. I love the MC has the most like fake tanned face and like blown out hair. He's played by Matt Winston, who is again another person that I think like he's a guy that's has small roles in like a million zillion things. I also learned from his Wikipedia that he is the son of special effects artist Stan Winston, who we talked about
uh,
because he helped with Jurassic Park
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
Aliens and The Thing and like all this stuff. So like when we were talking about the really good special effects in Jurassic Park, this is that guy's son.
there you go.
So he's been in like a million things, including like 6 Feet Under, Star Trek Enterprise, etc. Then it's the bathing suit part of the competition. So they come out and walk, and like all the girls are in these like frilly little bikinis, and Olive is just in a normal one piece. And they all have this big hair and like the makeup, and they're doing these like crazy pageant walks, which is very, again, toddlers and tiaras. You watch it, you'll see all this. There's like crazy walks and like the little like blowing kisses and like doing all these little faces and poses. And Olive just like walks and like turns around. Um,
I wrote a note here, by the way. It says, "Ask Lindsay about little kids' beauty pageants," because I know you watch Toddlers and Tiaras, right? Or
I
you?
did. Probably one of the only shows I ever regretted watching.
Oh, well, no,
But
but
it's
I remember,
crazy.
yeah, but I remember you. So I mean, so this is really what goes on,
This
and
is
then
it. Yes.
this is it. So this
Yeah.
isn't like
The
sort
little
of
like, mhm.
well, some of the makeup and stuff was like, they look like 20-year-old girls,
Yep.
young women. I'm sorry, but
Yes.
but so this isn't like a spoof on it. This is, I mean, it is, but this is what really contestants would look like on the
Yes. They
Toddlers and
probably got
Tiaras
those girls from,
from that.
yeah.
Because that was the other thing I was going to ask you. Do you think these are real beauty pageant contestant kids?
Some of them looked familiar. Okay, look, all the girls acting as participants in the beauty pageant except Abigail Breslin were veterans of real beauty pageants.
Okay, so they were legitimate. They had been in beauty pageants, like in real life.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, they may have over exaggerated some of the makeup and the hair, but you said you saw this on Toddlers and Tiaras,
Uh-huh.
where they would look like this without being caricatures.
Yeah, I will say one of the mothers of the contestants in the film claimed that the film, this is a lie, I'm just going to say. She claimed the film overplayed practices the contestants go through. Most pageants aren't quite like that, with shaving the girls' legs, spraying them with fake tans, and putting on so much makeup. Maybe not the shaving, but the tans and the makeup,
They did do that.
it sure the hell
Well,
is.
well,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, like I shaving their legs. The girls don't have things to shave at that point, do they? On their legs at 11 years old? Just saying.
Yeah.
That'd be like a guy shaving at 11. It's
Yeah.
like there's nothing
No.
there, dude.
No. And they're supposed to be, they're like even younger than that. They're like 7.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I'm just saying.
So, but
So
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the like mannerisms, the hair, the makeup, the outfits, like that's very kiddie pageants. I'm also reading too that Olive is wearing a Abigail Breslin's wearing a padded suit, so she looks more
Oh, more chunky than she
plump.
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Is chunky
Um,
not, is that
I,
politically
whatever. We know what you
not,
mean. It's fine.
yeah.
I will also say I missed a moment. So one of the judges of this pageant is Miss California. And she, when like registration's happening, she's like signing pictures for the girls. And Olive's like, "Oh my God, Mom, that's Miss California." So they go meet her. And she signs her picture and she's very nice to her. And then she's about to walk away. And she's like, "Miss California, can I ask you a question?" And she's like, "Of course." And she says, "Do you eat ice cream?" And she says, "Yes, my favorite is chocolate cherry Garcia, but maybe that's more of a frozen yogurt." And Olive's like, "Okay, thank you." So she does eat
And
ice
and she
cream,
and, yeah,
Dad.
and she said she loves ice cream. So
She
yeah.
loves ice cream. Take that.
Right. Yeah, and she's a winner. So
Yeah. So, anyways, we see all these girls. Olive is the only one who looks normal, like a regular
right.
child.
Exactly. Who actually
Um,
looks like a normal little kid.
yeah. And I love the Richard, the dad, is talking to the biker guy near him, and he's like, "Oh, do you have a daughter in the pageant?" And the guy's wearing earplugs. He takes one out and he's like, "Oh, is this your first time?" And
Yeah.
Richard's like, "Yeah," and he just like puts the earplug back in.
Yeah. You'll learn.
hmm The MC is then singing. The girls are all lined up in their outfits, and he's singing "America the Beautiful," but like very close to them.
I, I wrote, is the MC a perv? I wrote that. Do you think he's a perv?
No, I think he's just weird, but like also that is the thing too. Like if you watch Child, some of the MCs are like it's like a middle-aged, like very flamboyant gay man who like doesn't like have anything better to do.
Oh, so because I was sitting there thinking maybe he was like a pedophile or something. It's
I
like
mean, could be.
Just saying.
Olive, again, is the only one that has the sense to be like, why is this grown man like singing in my ear?
I,
Like she looks like, what the hell?
I know she's looking at him like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? Like this close to me. And then, this is a little creepy because I thought it was creepy.
It was. We cut outside. Dwayne and Frank are outside, like at the end of the
Yeah.
pier by the water. They're just talking. And Dwayne is like, I wish I could just like fast forward through all this nonsense, like high school, and just like wake up when I'm 18. It just sucks. It's like all these people are fake, like just like in there, everybody's like judging you, blah, blah, blah. And Frank talks about Proust, and he's kind of like, Proust didn't become famous until after he was dead. Like he wasn't, no one really cared.
Right.
But one of the things he wrote was that like he did his best work when he was suffering. Like the years that he was happy, he like produced nothing. And when he was suffering, he did all of his best writing. So Frank's like, Proust would say, you can't skip high school because those are prime suffering years for you.
Exactly. Yeah, he says if you slept through that, he goes, just think of all the angst you would miss, and
Hmm.
the yeah, like you said, the suffering that you wouldn't have to get you where you needed to be.
Yeah. And Dwayne says that like everything in life is a beauty contest and like fuck that. And he's like, and fuck being colorblind, fuck the Air Force. I'm gonna find a way to fly.
Yeah, because that's what winners do.
And he says, this is, I think, better advice. He says, you do what you love and fuck the rest.
And even Frank's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, what he says is, I'm glad you're talking again, Dwayne. You're not nearly as stupid as you look.
And and even Dwayne laughs at that. I thought that was funny
Yeah.
too. Yeah, because
He's
that's a
like,
good.
thank you.
Yeah, I do like Dwayne better when he talks.
Yeah, me too.
Instead of the angst-ridden, silent, horribly depressed teenager.
Yeah. So they are eventually like, we should go back in.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, because we need to cheer or root for Oliver, show
Yeah.
our support.
And so the talent round is starting. This is kind of what we've been waiting for. This is what Olive's been practicing for. And we see
Right.
some of the other girls' talents. Like there's a girl that's singing, there's a girl that is doing crazy dancing, there's a girl that yodels, there's a girl that's doing like gymnastics. And Richard is looking like,
he,
what? What lab
he
were these kids grown in?
I know he's like, what have we gotten in her into? What is
Yes.
this?
So he goes back to the dressing room. And Dwayne is going back. I love this. He just keeps being like, where are the dressing rooms? And people are like, are you allowed back here? And then he asks the little girl, he's like, where's the dressing room? And she's like, are you supposed to go there? And he's like, just tell me where the dressing room is.
Yeah, like,
To this
come
like
on.
6 year old. Come on. And Richard goes to Cheryl and he's like, I don't want Olive to go on. Like, she's going to be embarrassed. People are going to laugh at her.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
she's not on their level. And she's like, she's been working for this like forever. Like, this is what she wants.
Yeah.
She's been practicing so much. And Dwayne goes back and he kind of says the same thing. I don't want these people judging her or laughing at her.
Right. Which I thought was sweet too, because this is not even his biological sister. I mean,
It's his half sister.
half sister, but I mean, but he's protective of her like a big brother would
Yes.
be.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I have a younger half sibling. He's my only sibling, so he's
yeah,
just my
no,
brother.
and I've got an older half brother and half sister. So yeah,
Yeah.
so and we're family. So
Yeah. The mom is like, she's been practicing for this like so long. And we gotta just let Olive be Olive. So it's time for her to go. The lady is like, okay, we gotta go, we gotta go. And the mom is like, Olive, this is up to you. Because Olive is nervous.
yeah,
If if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. And but she's like, no, I'm going. And we see her outfit. Once again, the other girls are in these like crazy.
Uh,
rhinestoned outfits. Olive is in track pants, a white button-up shirt, a vest, and a red tie. And then she's got a red sweatband on and a top hat. But it's not even a real top hat. It's like the one you get at like the party store. It's like
right.
felt. And she gives her mom her glasses. Like she's like, "All right, here we go." And she goes with the so the family's like, "Okay, I guess she's doing this." They go back to the ballroom to watch her. And she goes on stage and the guy announces her and like it's like, "All right, ready to go." And she beckons him over and takes the mic and she says, "I want to dedicate this to my grandpa who showed me these moves." And the MC is like, "Oh, like is he here? Where is he? Is he in the audience?" And she's like, "He's in the trunk of our car." And the guy's like, "Okay, well, take it away." And so she stands in her opening pose, and then the music starts. And it's Super Freak by Rick James. I think it's like a remix, but it's Super Freak.
Yep.
The words are the words. So the first things you hear is like, "She's a very kinky girl." And you're like, and then like one of the first moves is her swinging around and like smacking her butt, and everybody's immediately just like, "Oh!" Some of the people are leaving. They're scandalized.
It- including the reaction of her family, who evidently has not seen what this number looks like.
Pay attention to your kids, people. Even when they're hanging out with grandpa.
Because Richard is like, I mean, he looks like everybody else in the audience. He's like dumbfounded. So
Yeah. I will say Miss California at the judges table is like, "All right, go girl." She's
yeah,
into
she
it.
she she's smiling and she thinks it's great. Yeah. So, but it was it did. And I told Lindsay before we started recording. I said the part that made me laugh out loud was this part. Was when she started us, because this is the last thing I
I
expected.
remember like when I saw it for the first time and it's like, "What?"
Because
That?
you know
And it gets worse.
because the whole movie, her character is not at all, because you see girls that act like a little,
Mhm.
whatever, but you do not get the vibe off of her,
No.
and I'll let you continue, but she is into it.
Hmm. She's like serving.
Yes,
So she's like, first of all, she goes to the front and rips off the pants. They're tearaway pants.
like
And
a
then
stripper would.
yes, then she takes off the vest, she throws the hat, she takes off the shirt, pulls up the shirt, she takes off the tie and she uses it to like, she's rubbing it by her butt and like she's got these like little red like frilly hot pants on and like a black tank top and like a gold belt and gold Chuck Taylors. Like they look like they were like spray painted
Yeah,
gold. And she's like doing like God, she's doing the little like it looks like she's doing like "I'm so excited," the like hot feet and like
yeah,
just these crazy
or the
moves.
flash dance, what I call the
Flash
flash dance.
dance.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was.
yeah.
Sorry, that's what I was thinking of. But she's like, so she's doing like crazy stuff like that. She's spinning around. She's like smiling. She's like, "I'm giving the performance of my life."
She is selling it, like she is,
Yes.
she this is she's practiced it, she knows it, and she's like, this is for grandpa.
And there are people who are booing. Someone says you suck, and you hear Frank is like, "Who said that? I'll kill them." And then the dad stands up and they just start clapping. The rest of the family, they
Yeah,
stand up
yeah,
to clap along to the song to give her encouragement because she's doing her little butt shaking and butt smacking and stuff. And
because even though dad seems like he's horrified, Richard is like, oh my god,
first
but
and foremost, I will support my daughter.
exactly. So
And yeah, people keep believing. Oh, there's a part that's really cute where she spins around a lot and then she's like dizzy.
yeah, she gets a little woozy.
And the pageant lady comes up to Richard and says, "What is your daughter doing?" And again, you don't know what he's gonna say, but he goes, "She's kicking ass. That's what she's doing." And then the pageant lady goes up to the MC and is like, "Get her off." And you can see Richard in the audience is like, do not put your hands on my dog. Do not touch her." So then he runs up to the stage to keep
it,
them, and then he's like fighting them off.
because I still think the MC's a perv. I'm just saying.
Yes. And then he's like fighting people. They're holding him, and he's like, I love it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Keep going, Olive. Daddy's okay. Keep going."
Yeah, yeah. Go
And
ahead.
Frank and Dwayne went after him too to like help. And then they let him go and he acts like he's gonna get Olive off the stage. But then he goes up to her and stops. And then he starts dancing too, doing these like I don't know, he's got his hands on the back of his head and he's doing a sort of like arm like a bird flapping
Yeah,
thing, kind
I
of
don't know what
pelvic
that
thrust.
move is. Yeah, so
That was one of Olive's moves also.
right.
And then Frank joins, and then Dwayne joins, and then the mom is cracking up, and she runs on stage and joins, and they're all kind of holding hands, going in a circle. And the audience is just like watching in disbelief.
This is, I mean, some of them, yeah, are just horrified. And even some of the, I guess, maybe not contestants, but some of the older, it looks like older girls, but uh,
Yeah, and like the moms, like they're all just like, "How dare you?" And the song ends, and they stop, and the only person who claps is Kirby, who's like the AV guy.
yeah, Kurt.
And then the biker guy stands up and he's like, "Hell yeah!" Like that was like the thing he's been waiting for. Like
I,
finally something different at these pageants.
exactly. So it was like, instead of the same old stuff, I guess, but he was like, yeah, and like, and Richard looks over him like, geez, well, we got one. So, uh,
Yeah. And then we cut to the family who are lined up like outside of the security office. Well, you see the pageant ladies in there like ranting, but it looks like they've been called to the principal's office.
they're
And
sitting outside in those little
in the
chairs.
chairs, yeah. And
Yeah.
the cop comes out and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna let you guys go. You just have to agree to never enter your daughter in a pageant in the state of California ever again." And they kind of sit there, and then Frank's like, I think we can agree to that." And they're all just like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah."
yeah, yeah. Frank's like it, like he's actually deliberating it. It's
I think
like,
that's fair. That's fair.
yeah,
We can make
yeah,
that
yeah,
work.
yeah, we can live with that. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. And he looks down like, oh yeah, yeah,
Everybody,
okay, yeah, yeah,
everybody,
yep,
agreed.
yep, 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 yep. We okay. Yep.
We are on board. So then they leave. They do the same, get the van going, and they all do kind of sadly close the trunk because it doesn't have Grandpa in it
What?
anymore.
But it has the sheet,
Yes. Yeah,
and that
the
kind
empty sheet.
yeah, the empty sheet. So it's kind of like little. It was a little bitter, I won't say bittersweet, but it was a little, sad, that
Yeah.
he's actually gone,
Hmm. Yeah.
uh,
But they get the rolling start as usual. Did you know I'm the number one most preeminent Proust scholar in the United States? And they break the parking gate again on the way
oh,
out because they can't because the pageant lady is at
it, the
the
pay,
exit,
and she's blocking the one thing.
but they can't stop, so they just go around and break the
Just
gate. And
go.
she once again is like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, it's like, oh, these heathens, these
Yeah.
awful people.
And then they're back on the road. I will also say when they arrived, the door fell off. The sliding door on the
Oh,
side fell off when
and
Frank was like running out. But the dad is like, "I fixed it. Good as new."
yep, we're good to go. So here we go.
Yeah. So, and then they're back on the road back to Albuquerque. And
And
that's the end of Little Miss Sunshine. Horn still honking.
I was getting the horn's still going. So, uh, and I don't know about you. One of the things I liked was it didn't wrap up anything other
No.
than Olive's pageant, but we didn't find out if Richard made a success out of his thing or what we know Grandpa finally got taken care of properly,
Mm-hmm.
but what is Frank going to be okay? Is
Yeah, it is.
Dwayne going to be okay? What's his next step going to be? But you know what? It was so sweet because that's kind of how life is.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the next thing. that it's like
Yeah.
we got through this. What's the next thing?
Yeah. And I think we're left with a sense that like these people will somehow figure it out together.
Right. That regardless of what it throws at them or what life throws at them, they're going to hang together. And there may be some tears and there may be some
Hmm.
yelling and you know, hopefully, they're but they'll work it out and stuff. And then I really hope in the end that I was hoping that Dwayne takes Grandpa's advice. Just saying, because I would pay money to see that sequel. So I'm just
Oh my God, I was about to say something like nice and tender.
saying, it's like Dwayne becomes a porno star. So
Oh God, really flying high here.
yeah. So anyway, but
No, I was gonna say that like it does give you a sense that like they are closer for having gone through all of this.
exactly, and Olive, bless her heart, seems to be sort of unscathed by all this.
Right.
She got to compete in her pageant
Exactly.
and got to do, the number that she had practiced with Grandpa and stuff like that. So,
Her whole
and
family joined her.
exactly, so it was a true family, experience. So,
Yeah. Ignorance of.
uh,
I will say too, I think that Olive's character was written really well because sometimes I think when like an adult tries to write a child, it's like this is just a small adult.
right,
It's like how they used to paint. Have you ever seen like Renaissance paintings, how they tried
right,
to paint children and they look just like adults but
tiny,
tiny,
yeah, they look like small people, like
proportionally
small.
weird?
Hmm.
It's like that's how sometimes people will write children, that they're like adults but smaller, and it's like no, this is like a person with a completely different like lens on the world. They're still figuring it all out.
Hmm. Yeah,
So, and I
that's
think that
that's a
like
good observation.
her
So,
character was written in a way that felt true to children, right? There are things they absorb, there are things they hear that scare them and concern them, all,
hmm.
but also they're oblivious to a lot and sort of just like good in this way and like loving and open, right? Like the thing about like Frank trying to kill himself, like I do think that like most things you could just like be straight up with a kid and they would just be like, "Huh, okay."
Okay, yeah,
And like that's how it is. Like I do think that that's how it is to talk to kids. Like you just tell them stuff because it's like they don't know anything. This is their first time on Earth.
right.
They like you just tell them stuff and they're like, "Huh, okay." And
Yeah,
then they just move on.
because at that point in this stage, there's no preconceived notions in their head,
Exactly.
or so there's no history to build on or anything like that. And so maybe if the first impression is the true impression, or it's like she thought it was silly that Frank fell in love with a boy.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that. But yeah, I think that's something that I think about, I thought about this time. That like I do actually think that like she seems like a real child. And
Agreed.
obviously that is in large part due to Abigail Breslin's performance, but I also think the writing, like she is written as a child and not as like a a small adult.
Yeah. Excuse
So
me.
so
No,
shout out to Michael Arndt for that.
an excellent point, which I hadn't thought of. You're right, because
Mm.
sometimes when you do see children act in movies and stuff, yeah, you don't, you think, oh, people don't talk like that. Just like we've talked about it, even in adult roles, real people
Yeah.
don't talk like that. They don't give the big dramatic speeches and stuff, or
Yeah.
the clever, or unless it's Shakespeare. Sorry,
Yeah.
the
It's and it's not easy to like write a kid actor. Let's talk about the we talked about kind of the small cameo roles, but we can talk about the
hmm.
main cast now. So, the dad Richard is played by Greg Kinnear. He has been in Stuck on You. He was recently on the show Margot's Got Money Trouble. Stuck on You is such a dumb movie, but very funny.
It's so funny. It's so
Him and
funny.
Matt Damon play
Oh
conjoined
my,
adult conjoined twins, if you haven't seen it. Greg Kinnear also in As Good as It Gets, Invincible, The Last Song, Nurse Betty. He was in TV miniseries. He played John F. Kennedy in The Kennedys. He played Joe Biden in Confirmation, which is a good miniseries people should watch. It's about the confirmation hearings for Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill and all of that. So Greg Kinnear
Hmm.
plays Joe Biden in that. But
He also played Bob Crane, the actor who was in Hogan's Heroes and
hmm.
who died very mysteriously
Oh,
um,
interesting.
back in the 70s, I believe it was. But that was, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but that he did a really good job of that with Willem Dafoe. Was
Hmm. That was in Autofocus.
That's what it was. So
The mom, Cheryl, is played by Toni Collette, a person who's actually Australian, but you would never know.
nope.
She's been in Muriel's Wedding, Emma, The Sixth Sense, About a Boy, The Hours, In Her Shoes, Hereditary, Knives Out, Nightmare Alley, Juror Number Two, Mickey 17. Those are movies. On television, she's been in The United States of Tara, playing Tara, which is a woman with dissociative identity disorder or multiple personalities. She was on the Netflix miniseries Unbelievable, which is really good, and also in the HBO miniseries The Staircase.
I didn't know she was in Knives Out. I can't remember what.
She's in the first one. She's like the daughter of the guy.
Oh,
She's a sort
gotcha.
of hippie-ish one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
She was excellent in this. I thought.
yeah. She's just like good because she is sort of like she doesn't have like the craziest like biggest like outbursts like other people do, but she's like it just feels like a real
Right.
performance, right?
Yeah.
She's a mom who's like the breadwinner who's got to keep it all together and she's like frustrated.
Hmm. And also the wife to try to be supportive of uh, of her husband. Who. It, it, yeah, he's whatever he's done business wise and stuff, but then he loses his dad and stuff. I mean, like
Hmm.
yeah. There's a lot of there's a lot of hats she has to wear.
Yeah, and it's like she wants to be supportive, but her husband is like kind of like a loser with
Yeah,
this
and
idea he has that's not going anywhere, and it's like
he won't admit that it's not going anywhere, and
right, and she's kind of like resentful because she's
yeah,
carrying the weight to let him do this, and it's like nothing's coming of it. So like when are we going to cut our losses? But he's
right.
like persistent. But yeah, so she's great. Uncle Frank, played by Steve Carell. You probably know Steve Carell from The Office, playing Michael Scott, which like was on at this time, and so this is like such a different. I think that's one thing that I liked about it when I first saw it was like this is like very much not the same because I think
Oh
he was
gosh, he's so low key in this movie.
yeah he'd by this point he'd also been an Anchorman and the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh,
So like
okay,
you think like that's the image that I had of him.
exactly.
And this is very different. Like it's still comedic, but it's so much more serious. And he's not really like the in those other things, he's like the buffoon,
Right,
right?
and,
And he's not that in
no,
this.
like I said, he's almost the straight man,
Yeah.
in some of the.
Get it? Get it?
Sorry, that was not
No, I'm
intentional.
just laughing because it's like a funny pun. You didn't say
So
anything wrong. It's just
no,
it
but I
was
was
just
just.
perfect. I couldn't let that pass. Sorry.
That's no, I appreciate that. So, but I'm not that clever, and two, I'm not that mean. So, um,
Um,
but yeah, he's very uh, like the word I keep going to is understated. He's just so low key into this,
yeah.
but he has some of the best, and I won't say the lines, but the best facial expressions.
Yeah.
Like the when he's caught in the gas station, it's not
Mm-hmm.
so much what he says, but how he looks. It's like the little kid who got caught stealing the cookies.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh, because he's just, he's dying of embarrassment.
Yeah. And I love his interaction with the other family because I do think that he thinks like he's the nation's preeminent Proust scholar. He's smarter than and like better than these people.
Right. Yeah.
And so he is always like a little bit sarcastic to them and like that scene when he's like, "Oh, is sarcasm the refuge of losers? Is it? Oh wow, thank you for telling me that. How much do I owe you?" Or
Yeah.
like the line when he says whenever he's interacting with Dwayne, I think like those two are really funny. Even when Dwayne's not talking, like at the beginning when Dwayne's like, "But I won't have any fun," and he's like, "You're speaking for all of us there, Dwayne." Or when Dwayne's like, "Please don't kill yourself," and he's like, "Not on your watch, Dwayne."
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. Or at the
So,
end when he goes, "You're not nearly as stupid as you look."
yes. He's so funny. But then I also love the moments where like someone's booing Olive and he's like, "Who was that? I will fucking kill them."
Well, it like when they pull up though, and he takes off out of the van. It's like he's going to get to the at registration desk to
Yeah.
make sure that she gets in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come hell or high water. So
Yes. Other Steve Carell things. He's been in a million things. He was in Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty. He was in the movie version of Get Smart, Crazy Stupid Love. He's the voice of Gru in all the Despicable Me movies. He was in Foxcatcher, Battle of the Sexes. He played Bobby Riggs. The Big Short, Vice, Beautiful Boy, Asteroid City. On TV, he's been, in addition to The Office, he's been on The Morning Show, Space Force, The Patient, which is like really dark and serious,
oh, I don't know that one.
and most
So
recently, Rooster. The grandpa is played by Alan Arkin, who we have met before. He was in Grosse Point Blank. He played the therapist, but he's had a up until his death a couple of years ago in 2023. He had a very long and storied career. He was in The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, Argo, Wait Until Dark, Catch 22, Edward Scissorhands. He's also in the Get Smart movie, Going in Style, Glengarry Glen Ross. On TV, he was in The Kaminsky Method. And earlier in his career, he was on the TV miniseries Escape from Sobibor.
just
And the Pentagon Papers, he was
oh,
also in that.
okay, just a great actor though. I mean, just to me, it's and to this has got to be one of his best, if not his best performance.
Yes. And I mean, he deserved the Oscar. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
yeah, yep. So
I can tell you that he beat Eddie Murphy in Dreamgirls. That's a tough one. I really like that. He beat Marky Mark in The Departed, Jimon Hansu in Blood Diamond, and Jackie Earle Haley in Little Children. Um,
nah, I
I
still go with
think,
Alan Arkin.
yeah, I think the only one that I would make an argument for is Eddie Murphy in
Uh,
Dreamgirls.
granted, and it
But
could
the
have
other
been one of
ones,
those things where Alan was going out, that, and
hmm
then and then
he was
he had
due.
right. He probably been passed over a few times, before, and just one of those things,
Yeah, but
So
I think that he certainly deserves to be there, and I have no quarrel with like him winning this because I think he was really good.
no,
And again, like you said, he's only in the first like two-thirds of the movie, but
yeah,
he's still like very impactful.
uh, 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 precisely. So I mean, just what a great character. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
from giving out grandfatherly advice to snorting heroin.
Heroin. He's a veteran
Yeah, with Nazi bullets in his ass.
in his ass still.
Still have Nazi bullets in my ass.
Yeah. The brother Dwayne is played by Paul Dano. He's been in There Will Be Blood, Night and Day, Looper, 12 Years a Slave, Prisoners. He was also in Love and Mercy playing Brian Wilson. Cowboys and Aliens. He was in The Batman. He was the Riddler. He plays the dad in The Fablemans. He was in the TV miniseries Escape from Dannemora, where he plays one of those guys who escaped from. Remember the real prison escape, where it was like the lady who worked at the
Hmm.
prison helped the two guys
Right. Help
escape.
the yeah. Was
He
that
plays one of the prisoners in the
oh, okay.
miniseries about that. He was in the movie Ruby Sparks, Dumb Money, and he also directed a film called Wildlife that starred Jake Gyllenhaal and Carey Mulligan.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
Yes. And last but certainly not least, Olive is played by Abigail Breslin, Academy Award nominee for this film. She's been in No Reservations, Definitely Maybe, My Sister's Keeper, Zombieland and the sequel, Rango. She was on the television show Scream Queens. She was in August Osage County, Ender's Game, Signs. That was her first movie, I think. Raising
Signs.
Helen. Yeah. So she did a lot of acting as a child, but she's still acting
I know
also.
her from Zombieland. I think more so than this because I think that's the
Yeah.
first one that I really. But that and that was not that long ago. So she was
Yeah.
you know older.
I I think of Definitely Maybe and My Sister's Keeper. But yeah, that's the cast. I think like I just love this movie. It's there's so much that is good about it. It doesn't feel just like fake or cloying. It feels, I don't know, just
It's honest, don't you?
it
I mean,
yes, it feels honest.
it's you could sit there and go, oh, I see my family, or I see me, or I see to me, I could,
Hmm.
the bickering and the it's like we need to talk about this. No, no, I don't want to talk about it right now. Instead of like just because it's usually that's the way it is. So just
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Lindsay
It's
knows more so from dealing with couples, but like
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
it's like usually one doesn't want to talk about it and the other one does, and there
Yeah.
the pain lies.
Yes. It's a in they call like they like a pursuer distancer dynamic is what the clinical people would say. This is funny. I love reading this. Uh Michael Arndt based this. It was originally about an East Coast road trip from Maryland to Florida, which would have really felt
Oh
real,
God.
but it was shifted from a journey to New Mexico to California because of budget issues. I'm also reading that they didn't necessarily want to hire the role of Frank was originally written for Bill Murray. Then they wanted to get Robin Williams. And they ended up choosing Steve Carell because they met with him and they weren't sure, right? Because like I
Yeah.
said, he's been on The Daily Show, The Office,
Right. So something completely different.
yeah, like Kids in the Hall and like but when they talked to him about it, he was right on the same page and the producers didn't were worried about him not having enough acting experience, not being a big enough
Hmm.
star. But I think that this was the perfect choice. I'm so glad that they went with
I
him.
agree. I think of the other two. Look, to me, Robin Williams could do no wrong. I mean, I don't think whatever movie he was in, I can't think of him being in a bad, being bad in it. But I think this was so very understated and so on. I think a little over the top performance might have been too much,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, because the character didn't come across as overtly gay to
Yeah,
me. Where it's almost stereotypical.
right. It's like it's that's part of his
Hmm.
identity. It's not like the
Right.
defining feature of his
Exactly.
character.
Yeah. So he's not overtly, and then the other one is about he doesn't. Dwayne is almost more despondent than Frank is, and
Hmm.
and and Frank tried to kill himself. So,
Yeah.
um,
But
but
that feels real too, right? I think that lots of teenagers have this sort of like period of like nihilism where like nothing matters and I hate
yeah,
everybody and da da da,
right, yeah, the world sucks. I hate everybody. You're all losers except for me. So,
Yeah. And then you
uh,
sort of moderate a little bit,
yeah,
right? When you're a
yeah,
little kid, you're like, everything's great. And then you're a teenager, you're like, everything sucks. And then as an adult, you're like,
yeah,
okay, I
right.
think it's somewhere in the middle,
Yes.
hopefully, most days. But yeah. The last thing I'll say too is the writer said you start off with these people living separate lives, and at the climax of the movie is them all jumping up on stage together. So the story is really about the family starting separately and ending up together, which I think
Oh,
is just a
that
nice
is the
thing.
yeah, that is yeah. Yeah, because we do see them all being separate at the very beginning of it, and
Hmm.
then at the end, except for well, in a way, Grandpa's still there, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
he's with them in spirit. He
In
would be with
spirit,
there with
yeah,
them if he could.
and he was with them for several hours on the road, even after he was departed.
And
So
he's with them in the fact that he came up with this routine.
yes, which man, got to tell you, that's I can see why when some of the things that came out of his mouth, I can see why then but and I'm sure that's why he never let anybody see what he was teaching
Yeah,
Olive. So
of course.
just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, what a fun movie. I think, like I said, it's on Netflix until the end of August, so watch it if you haven't. I think it's really worth it. And it's like an hour and 40 minutes, so it's really not a
Yeah,
long movie at
yeah.
all.
Now I had to rent it, so
Mm,
but which is fine. So,
yeah.
but you know,
I also own it on DVD.
oh
So,
well. See, there you go. So,
yeah.
but yeah, like it is. You know, it was a critical success and also a box office success.
Hmm.
So it you know, and you know, so don't take our word for it, people. You know, to if you don't, you know, if you want
Everybody agrees with us.
exactly. So if you want, you know, corroboration, so just saying. In case you all wonder, by the way, Lindsay and I pick movies because that we like the movie, not because everybody else likes the movie. Because
Hmm.
I'm sure you're going to hear about movies, hopefully that you've never heard of,
Yeah,
you know, or that you know you maybe you heard of, but I never thought about watching that. So hopefully our reviews will pique your interest.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, anything else you want to add, Jim?
Nope, just enjoyed it. Thanks again for another really good selection. Like I said, I had not seen it, and then at the end of it, I just started laughing out loud. So it was so funny.
Yeah, it's
When
great.
Olive first started a routine, and then when the family joined in, it was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. So that was so good.
I started cracking up when they smuggle grandpa out of when
Yeah,
they're the dad just
that
like,
was
okay, let's go, let's go. Freaking
it was
Olive is
like
keeping watch.
yeah, because I didn't see that coming either. So, you
No.
know, I was very sad to see Grandpa die, but I was also very funny to see that they decided to take Grandpa with them. So,
Mm,
which was hey, bold move. So,
yeah. Well, thank you all for listening. Please be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to this so you can get our episodes delivered to you every Monday when they come out. Please leave a rating, review, or a comment. Hopefully, it is a nice one, or Richard will call you a loser, and no one wants to be a loser.
you won't
You
get
can
ice cream.
exactly. You can follow us on Instagram at Some of Our Parts Pod. You can see all the movies that we've talked about thus far. We are at this is our 120th episode, so there are many, many movies we've discussed of all shapes and sizes. You can see little previews of what's to come the day before a new episode comes out and whatever else we decide to share. And with that, bye bye.
Take care.